There comes a time when I start a series. I call it a series where I just bring people on that basically have a bunch of shit that I don't have,
Right.
and I pimp them out. Brandon, am I a pimp?
You might be. You might be. All the
What's
qualifications are there. You know,
so here you are.
you make the schedules, you bring people on and off the channel. Yeah,
I'm excited about this, Brandon. I feel like me and you really connected over zombie films.
we did. Yep, correct.
What do you think it is about? Like, I have a theory. I'm wondering what you think about this. I think the people that aren't into zombie films aren't into them because they haven't found that one that connects with them, which then peels back the curtain and makes them want to go back and watch some of the ones that they just saw before and just didn't like because they don't like zombie films. But really, it's just they had to find that one that worked for them. And then
Mhm.
you can kind of get this appreciation for a lot of them. That's my theory.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Did,
It's hilarious to me that there's so many people who don't like zombie flicks, and they do find that one. Like my buddy from work, he's not a big zombie fan, but he's in love with Dawn of the Dead 2004, which he sort of retroactively watched recently, and he loves it. And I'm not sure if it steered him down the path of watching more zombie flicks, but that was the first zombie flick he ever saw that really got to him.
right.
I think it's that's the keystone here is finding a zombie movie that really gets to you. Because I do think zombie flicks are probably the scariest genre within horror. I know that slasher movies probably should be because they're realistic, right? Because those can actually happen. But this
Right.
is something so frantic and crazy and weird and claustrophobic about zombie flicks. It just really gets to me under my skin, especially with movies like Day of the Dead, Zombie 2, that kind of stuff. Just that feeling of you're not going to get away from these things.
Mm, yeah. Now, as silly as this sounds, do you think that this could ever happen? And if a zombie outbreak could happen, what form would it be? Would it be a germ? Would it be a bacteria that takes over people, like, or would it be a fungus like in The Last of Us? I'm
I
being
feel like
serious. I'm actually not bullshitting.
I don't know, man. It's weird because I saying Last of Us sounds so hokey out loud. But then again, there's those things in real life that like those bugs that control ants and they control caterpillars and snails and stuff like that and lead them astray and take over their brain. Like that's crazy. That happens in real life.
Right.
So I guess on a basic level, if you want to call it a basic level, the cordyceps thing is probably the most realistic. I would think it would be a germ or a toxin or some kind of like weird strand of rabies or something, but I don't know. I guess the cordyceps makes the most sense. But then again, those things aren't really dead people. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I guess that the discussion of what is a zombie, what would count. But I do think if it ever happens, and I think something like that probably will happen eventually, it's not going to be like anything we've seen in the movies. And if it does happen, I swear to God, I hope they don't run. That's my only caveat. If they run, we're screwed. Because I can't, my heart won't deal with that, dude. My heart will stop.
Well, would you pull like a let's just say this happened, okay? And this let's just get morbid for a second.
Okay.
Let's say this happened and you're quarantined in your house, you've got everything boarded up, but they're going to get in the outbreak cuz let's be real, if it starts, it's starting in Florida.
It's starting in Florida. For
Maybe
sure.
California, but let's
Maybe
just say
California.
Florida. What do you do? Do you fight till the bitter end or do you gracefully tell your family, "Hey, we had a good run. This is it." I mean, I'm serious.
I, I I hear you. I guess you would have to fight to the bitter end, right? Like you would have to. You would have to. You wouldn't just give up. You would try to fight to the bitter end. As painful and elongated a process it could be, but I don't know. I guess I would try to fortify my house and gather enough resources for as long as possible, and then maybe get a little John boat because we live on the riverfront, and then sort of
Right.
go seaside if you
Seaside.
have to. But I swear to God, it's probably going to be just like The Walking Dead and George Romero's films, right? Where the humans are going to be the bigger threat, not the zombies. Because I'll be more worried about neighbor Joe trying to break into my house and steal my stuff 3 months down the road than I will zombies.
You damn
And
right.
like, I don't know, there'll be no police, no government, like nothing there to really protect you. So it's just, I don't know. It's such a scary prospect, the anarchy of the whole thing. Plus, in these days, 2024, going outside your house is dangerous already, but to actually think that going outside of your house is palpably dangerous all the time because there's dead things walking around trying to eat you. Such
Right.
a weird, that would be such a strange reality to live in. And would you ever get used to it? I don't know. Would you ever really like get broken into the zombie apocalypse?
Brandon, I think COVID taught us that we could get used to almost anything.
I would agree.
You know what I mean?
I would agree.
So,
Pure isolation from society, right?
yeah, absolutely. But guys, listen, today's video, it's really a therapy session, right? I branded this with the Planet Dirty logo up at the top, but I thought this would be really good for me and Brandon to sit here. And Brandon actually Brandon's got a sleeper collection. Brandon, have you heard the term? Have you ever heard the term when describing like a woman, a sleeper build? Do you know what
I
that
have.
means?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
she's got a good body tucked away somewhere in there, right?
exactly.
Right.
You have a sleeper collection.
I think so. Not as polished as it used to be, admittedly, but we'll get to that whole gripe and discussion down the road.
You got a video about that, right?
I do got a video about that. I got to make one too, a new one, a revised one about why my collection is so dwindled compared to what it used to be. But I think I got a pretty modest little zombie collection. I'm sure you have all the stuff I have, but I'm pretty proud of it.
Well, I know I don't for a fact because there's a few videos you've done that really, when I was thinking about this idea, I was like, I need to this is perfect for Brandon,
Yeah.
because I just saw this video he did about this random release of a classic and I'd never even seen it before. But what we're going to do for the audience is we're going to look at Brandon's zombie movie collection. Now, Brandon, can you tell me the formats that we have on deck?
We have VHS tapes, we have DVDs, we have Blu-rays, we have 4K Blu-rays, and we have
HD DVDs?
no, unfortunately, that would be sweet though. I have a vinyl soundtrack and I have 3 movies on CD soundtracks.
I
So,
love it. I love it. Brandon,
decent little thing.
let me ask you a question before we jump into this.
Mhm.
The movie that undoubtedly broke me into the zombie genre in terms of falling in love with it was unequivocally Return of the Living Dead.
Same.
I've got a tattoo booked next month, and after that, Brandon, I'm done. I'm not getting no more tattoos. Sydney keeps
That's a
saying
lie and you know it, dude.
You're gonna get more tattoos, and I'm like, no, I'm done after this. But anyway,
That's a
you probably are. Do you have any tattoos?
I don't. I
Don't do it. Just trust me.
I probably won't. I couldn't stand having it on the body. Like I would always look down at it and think it was dirt or something. You know what I mean?
Right.
I just couldn't handle it. Can't do it.
So when I watched Return of the Living Dead, Brandon, I was never a zombie movie fan. I don't know what it was. I never openly said I'm a zombie movie fan, but I watched this movie and holy shit, did I fall in love with it. I mean, till this very day, it's my favorite movie.
Oh yeah.
What is that movie for you? I mean, because it sounded like you agreed with my notion that people that aren't zombie movie fans, it's really because they haven't watched that one that really breaks it for them. And then it's like, wait a minute, I was going about this the wrong way, right? What did
Right.
you have that movie?
Um, I think like you, it was Return of the Living Dead Part 1 for me as well. That was the first zombie flick I ever saw, consciously at least. I saw it way, way too young, like all the other horror movies I'm in love with. I've saw it way, way too young. And I've loved the film ever since. It really broke me into the whole genre. So I didn't really have a chance to see a zombie flick I didn't like because that was my starter into the genre. And if anything, it raised the bar so high that there were so many zombie flicks I did see that I'm like, this is just not good enough. But
Right.
that movie, and I'm sure we'll discuss it more later. That movie, we've talked about it before. That movie is so relentless, so extremely viscerally terrifying. It's comedic, it's fun, good comedic timing, funny characters, zany concepts. I get it. It is a horror comedy. That movie is so bleak and nihilistic and relentless and palpably to the bone scary that to this
Right.
day, when I watch that movie, especially by myself late at night with the lights off, I feel like the zombies of that film are right outside my door. Like that's the worst case scenario zombie, as far as I'm concerned. You can't kill them, no matter what you do. That's just so. That's the kind of zombie apocalypse I cannot handle. I
Right.
don't think
Oh, I
anybody could. Nobody
I
could.
totally agree.
Yeah,
Brandon, before we get started, I'm going to say a statement and then you give me a yes or no and then you can elaborate. And
shoot.
I compare these two movies for a number of reasons. We might have talked about this before, but just for the sake of, you know, if the people aren't familiar with Planet Dirty,
Mhm.
I compare these two movies for two reasons. They're connected in terms of title and they came out basically right around the same time, the late 70s. I love George Romero. He is in fact my favorite horror movie director. But there comes a time where you have to just look yourself right in the mirror and admit Lucio Fulci made the better zombie film with
Mhm.
zombie flesh eaters over Dawn of the Dead. That's how I feel. I
Right.
mean, yes, true or false, and then elaborate.
Zombie is definitely the superior film when it comes to Dawn of the Dead. But you know my stance with Day of the Dead. I sort of flip flop with those two films. But as far as Dawn and Zombie are concerned, I would have to go Fulci all the way. Like George did a journeyman's job with Dawn. It's a classic. It's a monumental film.
It's
So
classic.
is Zombie 2. It's fantastic. Zombie 2 wouldn't exist without Dawn of the Dead, right? But there's something so out of this world frightening about Zombie 2, especially the claustrophobic setting of the island, the way the zombies look, the way they do that moaning and breathing sound effect. It's such a bizarre
T-
concept for a zombie flick.
Tell me the tagline: when there's no more room in heaven, the dead shall walk the. When there's no more room in hell, the dead shall walk the earth. Tell me when you close your eyes, and for the audience, I want you to close your eyes and say that tagline, and then play the clip of the zombie that we see in our background, the one that comes out of the ground, the iconic poster zombie. Tell me
Mm.
that tagline does not fit that movie even more so than Dawn.
It does. It fits it way better than Dawn. I know that he tried to get sort of poetic with his dead films, especially in Day of the Dead, with the conversation about could be a higher power punishing us, and that's the cause of this whole thing. But I really think that the zombies of George Romero's film are caused by the satellite explosion you hear them talking about in Night of the Living Dead, right?
Right.
In Zombie 2, they're blatantly voodoo zombies. So the concept of supernatural and hell and stuff like that is much more applicable for Zombie 2 than it is Dawn of the Dead, in my opinion. The tagline works a lot better for Zombie 2. And We Are Going to Eat You works a lot better for Dawn of the Dead, vice versa. So to me, that makes a lot of sense.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Brad, why do you think that's a controversial take, or do you think it really shouldn't be a controversial take?
it shouldn't be.
Maybe zombies just it's out there and it's definitely one of the most famous Italian horror movies, but do you think that there's still a general population that just hasn't seen it? Not horror fanatics, but like just a general, you know, the average person might have seen Dawn of the Dead or at least heard of it or seen clips of it.
Right. I don't know, man. At this point in
Or is it
2024,
too mean, Brandon? Do you think it's just too mean? It's
I
too
don't think
aggressive.
it might be too aggressive. I don't think because it's 2024. I feel like the audiences are probably leveled out when it comes to those two films now.
Yeah,
I think the older generation probably saw Dawn of the Dead in mass more than they did Zombie 2, the generation that's still around with us, of course. But I think at this point, for 40 years and younger, I feel like the playfield's probably leveled. But if they're not familiar with Zombie 2 in the same way they are with Dawn of the Dead, I would say they're at least familiar with the eye gouging scene because that's in every horror compilation. People in horror movies talk about it. In pop culture, it's relevant. I think they're at least familiar with that one shot of
right.
Zombie 2. Whether they know the name or not, I think it sort of exists in that zeitgeist, that little pocket of zeitgeist, at least, if that makes any sense at all.
Yeah. So, Brandon, I told you you don't have to put any of these in order. So,
Mhm.
I think it's time. We got the audience settled. We got some zombie talk in. And I think it's time to go through your collection of zombie films. Wherever you want
Okay.
to take us, you're conducting this train.
I don't have these organized by platform, medium, or collection. I sort of just have them thrown together how I saw fit. So I'll start with my VHS stack first, if you don't mind. And first and foremost, let me wipe the dust off this real quick. I'm going to go with this cool 25th anniversary collector's VHS edition of Night of the Living Dead. Very
Oh, dude,
stoked
I
about
want that
this.
so bad.
Isn't that cool?
Tell me about this.
So I bought this. Well, actually, my grandmother bought this for me at a grocery store in the mid 90s, I think, maybe late 90s. When did this come out? This says
Probably 94.
93. 93.
Okay.
So I guess it was around in rotation long before I found it. But I got this in like 95, 96, maybe 97. And I think it was at Publix, no less, which is it's a very popular Southern grocery store chain. And in the 90s, they sometimes sold VHS tapes. I think this is where this came from. And I also got Day of the Triffids from Publix. Another story. But yeah, very happy to own this. I've kept it in pretty good condition all these years somehow. Dude, I love the way the foil logo shines in the light. It's actually three-dimensional. You can run your finger across it and feel it. It's bizarre,
Yeah.
dude. Great little box set. I haven't watched it since the 90s, so I couldn't really tell you much about the content, but it has the 25th anniversary documentary, and it has the original film. I think it's in color too. It looks like it appears to be in color. I could be wrong. I guess someone in the comments correct me because I'm not going to get a chance to watch this.
I'm assuming the back pictures are in color, is why you say that.
I think so, but these all appear to be behind the scenes photos of the documentary. So I don't know if this is really.
I can't imagine that's a colorized version, because the colorized version came out in the late 80s.
Mhm.
And I think that was just a standalone release that happened. That's got to be the classic.
You're probably
release,
right.
Probably just remastered.
And they would say that too. It would be like in color or something on here if it was,
So, Brandon, funny story. The reason I learned about when the reason I learned about how Flesh Eater came to be, the Bill Heinzman. I was saying a guy's name wrong. I was saying Hinsman, but his name's pronounced Heinzman.
Is it Heinzman? I was saying Hinsman
it's
too.
Heinzman.
Wow.
So Bill Heinzman made that movie after when the colorized version was coming out. It was going to be a big deal. But what happened was neither Bill Heinzman, George Romero, John Russo, Rush Streiner were going to make a dime off of that because of the public domain reasoning.
Right.
So Bill Heinzman was like, maybe I can get some funding to make my own zombie movie and people would pay to see me as a zombie again. So that was the genesis for Flesh Eater. And that's how that movie actually came to be, because of the colorized version coming out in the late 80s. So I found that very interesting. I had no idea. I knew the colorized version existed, but I didn't think that came out till like 2005 or something. I didn't realize it came out in the late 80s.
Right. I think I've only seen it once or twice, and I was not really a fan of it. It looks really trippy and weird, but I'm just like, it kind of loses some of the effect,
I've never seen it top to bottom. I've seen clips, but I agree. It's
bizarre.
The 25th anniversary was a big deal for Night of the Living Dead. And I don't know if you remember this, because I went on eBay and bought it. I've always wanted a Night of the Living Dead one sheet, but I have I bought on eBay the 25th anniversary theatrical run. The movie had a big theatrical run again in 93. I don't know if you remember that, but
no.
Yeah, I have a poster. It's a black poster. Let me see if I can just move my camera and show it. Right there, it says Night of the Living Dead, They Won't Stay Dead. And right under it, there's that little box. It says Night of the Living Dead 25th anniversary theatrical.
Nice. Yeah,
so
that's
sick.
Yeah,
that's
I was
awesome. I was excited to get that. So that's one of my Brandon. That really is that's one of my favorite movies, and I don't think it's a good movie for any sort of legacy, or it's a classic, but I don't think it's a classic film. No, I still think it's a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I still think it's a good movie. Like, when you watch it, it holds up. It's damn good. I love Night of the Living Dead. I always will. That's just one of my favorites. So where are we going next?
We're going to go to the 90s. Let's see what release this is. The Video Treasures Special. This is the 1996 Anchor Bay standard Dawn of the Dead VHS tape, which I've had since the 90s. Still in pretty good condition. I love the simplicity of the damn VHS. It's just like screen printed with white text. It's just hilarious to me. This was a Kmart special. I think it was like $6 or $7 brand new back in the day.
Brandon, how about Kmart?
So good. All right.
They were my, like, before Katrina, we had a big Kmart, and this was probably like the the last run of Kmart still being on top in 2005. I used to go there all the time, and you know, I'd get all my movies there when I was a kid, our VHS tapes, our toys, groceries. We never went to Walmart growing up. We had a big Kmart. That's where we shopped.
Yeah. I feel like people sleep, or people just don't remember how good both the movie selection and toy selection was at Kmart.
Premiere.
They had some of the best action figures. I like back in the day. I feel like Kmart were the only people who had the Beetlejuice action figures. So damn good, dude. I have such crazy memories of that store, and finding gems like this there in the 90s in the Halloween section, no less. It's just crazy, dude.
So tell me about the color palette on that, because I've noticed with Anchor Bay they did a lot of different colors on their Dawn of the Dead. Is that silver and black on the zombie?
It's like it looks like a navy blue and gray, because this isn't black. It's like a navy blue color and then gray, sort of silvery. I'm assuming they did the version with like the rainbow holographic.
Yeah, the
clamshell,
gate on
right?
the gate on
Right.
of the Dead. I'm assuming. I remember asking Garrett. I said, "Is there something? Is there like something like gay? Because like with and I'm not making jokes. Like how in Nightmare 2, it's obviously it's like the gay horror movie or
Yeah.
one of them. I was
Right.
thinking to myself, maybe is there something in Dawn of the Dead that I forgot about? And Garrett was like, I don't think so. I think it's just like the 70s. They were doing that thing with colors, so that's what they went for. Which I want that release really bad. I don't know if you have.
Yeah. I don't have it. I wish I did.
That Dawn of the Dead. But yeah, very cool.
Yeah, I remember seeing that version at FYE, and I never picked it up. But the only thing that, go ahead.
Was that a blue light special?
Yeah. What really bothered me about this VHS tape, though, I attribute it to a lot of these video treasure releases. At least maybe I'm remembering wrong, but this looked so bad. I know it was VHS, but this is one of those VHS tapes you bought brand new.
SLP.
And it already had problems. Like the minute you started playing it, you know what I mean? Like the picture quality wasn't very good. It looked sort of had like some of the lines and stuff. It just wasn't a very good recording.
I think
they were just mass produced wrong or something.
Well, I wonder if that's an SLP mode VHS,
Probably.
Right? That's the cheap recording mode.
Mm-hmm.
If it's video treasures, they were pretty notorious for that. So that was probably a budget buy.
Yep.
VHS.
Yep.
Crazy. Brandon, when people say they prefer to watch stuff on VHS, I have a hard time believing it, much less understanding it. Are you? I mean, where are you at? Where on that?
No, when I wanna sit down and watch a movie, I really do prefer to have the highest quality version available that I own to watch. I want to hear it, I want to feel it, I want to see it, I want it to look crisp and cool, and I just want to see everything. Right. And I think obviously there's the novelty of collecting VHS tapes. It's sort of the nostalgia factor, right? I think there's a novelty in watching VHS tape. You have the big old school cube TVs, you have the VHS player, all the hardware. There's a vibe to it. I get it. Sort of like vinyl records. Like sometimes playing a CD sounds better than a vinyl record, depending on the recording. I know that's sort of sacrilegious to say about everything, but to say that VHS looks better is sort of like saying cassette tapes sound better. I just don't buy it. I think it's cool. It's cool to experience sometimes. Sorry to cut you off.
Well, you know what kills me about it too, especially on big budget movies. Like for instance, Blade Runner. When you watch Blade Runner on VHS, you are so pretend this is your image, your widescreen image for the movie, and you've got an explosion that happens maybe on your upper right quadrant of the screen. Mm-hmm. Well, the VHS is going to squeeze the image, and you're just going to see that portion where the most action is. But really, you're missing 70% of the image of what the camera's recorded. And that's a thing. Once I realized that, Brandon, that on VHS, you are seeing a cropped version of a movie, sometimes where the image is fixed and fixated on certain parts of the image. That's when I was like, oh, no, I can't do it. I have to see it as the director intended, widescreen, everything that was recorded. Otherwise, I freak out. I can't do it anymore.
I hear you. No, it's cool for the novelty. I would do it sometimes, but it would be very few and far between. I just love collecting them. I love the look and feel, touch, taste, all that shit. I just love VHS tapes, but I could not watch these all the time, dude. It just would not. I just can't do it. I couldn't go back.
Oh man, where are we going?
we're gonna go to another Video Treasures title, but this one looked better to me. I remember this one looking better right off the rip. Anchor Bay Video Treasures. This was the 97 release of Day of the Dead, which I think everybody else owns also. I'm
I have
pretty
that.
sure I got this from Kmart as well. I think not too long after the other one. So this was the first VHS version, obviously, of Day of the Dead that I owned. And when I saw this in the store, I was really surprised because I had never seen this cover art before that.
I haven't seen
I'd
it
always,
after that too.
yeah, exactly. I had always seen the painting of Bub, and all the video stores had the old painting. So this is really cool to have. Pretty good transfer or recording, whatever you want to call it. Much better than Don's presentation. Yeah, good
That's the
stuff, dude.
that's the VHS I have. I mean, I like that art, but I'm trying to like, is that zombie supposed to be like the zombie on the cover of Dawn?
I think so.
Kind
They had
of.
a sort of a run with like the half. When I was a kid, dude, I always assumed that this zombie was the bloody zombie in the helicopter scene of
Right.
Dawn, where the two kids are. That's what I assumed. So I'm not really sure if they were trying to push this guy to be like the icon of the franchise or what, but it's always been bizarre to me too. That's a deep dive right there, man. Finding out who or what the zombie is really supposed to be.
Do they
You know?
still? Is that still the moon, the burnt red sun, and then the main sun on it on the
Yep.
VHS?
You got the sun, the dawn, and the night. So it's
Yeah.
pretty cool. But it has such that late 90s re-release cheese where you can really see that early Photoshop work at work. Because like the moons are just like pixelated, the vector shapes are just pixelated all to hell. The logo's it's hilarious, dude. I love this release so much, dude.
Is that how you found out about the movie? Was seeing the VHS? Or did you know about the movie before you got that?
I started renting the VHS at Videoland, and it was the original, I guess, 1986 VHS release with Bub on the cover. And I've loved the movie ever since then. And I always wanted to own it. And then a few years later, after owning Dawn, I finally saw this, and I think it was Kmart as well, probably in the Halloween section, and got it. Good
Have you
times.
ever binged the three movies? Like start watching Night of Living Dead at 3 a.m. and then start playing Dawn at about 4:50 until like at the end of the movie, the sun's coming up, and then you do day.
That would be a cool idea. I have not done that. But that's a cool concept. For me, dude, I cannot watch these films back to back because although I get they're supposed to be spiritual sequels to each other. They're all supposed to sort of take place in the same linear timeline, but they feel like so much time has passed. It's hard to watch them back to back.
Yeah,
You know
they
what I mean?
also, and I say this not as a insult, but more of a compliment. But like each film kind of exhausts you by the time you're done with them.
It does, like especially Day. It's such a heavy film. It would be hard to watch Land of the Dead immediately after watching Day. You know what I mean?
Oh
Or
yeah.
vice versa, Dawn then Day. Like that would be a heavy, heavy, heavy. I feel like maybe watching Night and Dawn would be fun, but watching all three, I feel like would be damn. You would be in a fucking bad mood after that, dude.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. Where are we going next, Brandon?
We're going to Zombie 2. My first Zombie 2 release that I owned was the 1998 Anchor Bay Clamshell, which is one of my favorite VHS tapes that I own.
That's
Love this thing.
I think Pizzile has that.
So good, dude.
Does it have feet? Does it have nubbins?
It does. You can't really see them, but they're there. Yeah, you can in the light.
Yeah.
Stands up pretty good. I love this release, dude. This was one of my like prized, most proud VHS tape ownerships when I first got this thing. I think I bought this in like 1999, maybe 2000 from FYE. I'm pretty sure I rode my bike up to the mall and bought this. But such a good
So you were a big fan of this
presentation.
movie already by that point.
Oh yeah, because I had been renting this movie from the video store since maybe mid 90s before I finally saw this. And what blew my mind when I first watched this is the title card that comes up after he says the boat can leave now, tell the crew. It just says zombie, and like I think it says it in blue letters or something, right? Zombie. But I was used to really cheesy digital blood raining down the screen and saying zombie 2. So it was really weird seeing the different title card. It's a small change, but I was like, that's weird. That's when I first started realizing that, oh, this is sort of there's some kind of a title situation happening. because back then it was the 90s. I wasn't really too fluent in that whole discrepancy with the
Right.
title, so it was really a strange introduction to that whole world of
Brandon,
releases.
when you hold that zombie VHS, I know this is a weird question, but I feel like you're the only person that will get what I mean when I say this. Does that box feel 1999-ish, or does it like when you feel it? Does it feel like a material that's like newish, like the way the box feels? Because it looks like that looks like a it looks like a homebrewed VHS tape that somebody today made that
It
just
does.
looks high quality, like the box is sturdy and everything.
Yeah,
It's got all the, properties of something that would be made today.
you're right.
Does
Like,
that
it's
make
purposely
sense?
made to be, like, nostalgic and vintage, right? Like, purposely
You know what I
made to be
mean?
like that. Yeah, to me, there's so much history connected to it that when I pick it up, I just feel the weight of the year that I got it, the experiences, the memories, watching this with friends and stuff, so it does feel dated to me, but I get what you're saying. It totally does look like something they would be making now to play on nostalgia. So, yeah, one of the best
So
VHS
cool.
release tapes as far as I'm concerned.
And that's Anchor Bay.
Anchor Bay.
Were you aware that you were an Anchor Bay fan at that point, or was that just not even like, you were just into the titles, you weren't saying to yourself, "Oh, yeah, this is the Anchor Bay version."
I, um I was into the titles, but I'm pretty sure I did notice the
The
sailboat
sailboat.
logo
Yeah.
between, in front of every single thing. That and the damn Video Treasures logo on some of these. But,
You I
yeah,
have
Anchor Bay, dude.
You wanna know why everybody loves the Anchor Bay brand? Because the logo totally is so off the wall weird. Like, imagine this, Brandon. You've got a movie about zombies that come out of the ground, they stab a broad in the eye, they fight a shark, and there's a sailboat on the box for a logo. Like,
You would
what?
you would think you're watching, like, My Girl 2 or something, and then this damn movie comes on. I get it.
Like
Crazy,
like
dude.
like, it's so funny, like, you can go to a horror convention, everybody's got T-shirts of Joe Spinell with his holding a severed woman's head on a shirt and something, and then you might have a guy walk in with a sailboat logo, and everybody's like, "Oh, he's got the most badass shirt, man. He's got an Anchor Bay shirt on."
Dude, so holy shit. I just discovered something about this VHS tape for the first time. I don't think I've ever noticed this ever in my
The
life.
reversible art.
I think you're about to share a revelation with me. I didn't know this VHS tape had this.
Yeah, Brandon, I mean, Pizzow flipped it.
Dude,
Or
I
it's
don't
got
think I've ever looked at this before, ever.
now you're looking at it. Show
Dude,
the audience. Show the audience.
if I've
Oh,
seen this, I don't remember this at all.
yeah,
My
I mean,
my lunch tray is flipped right now.
I say it's reversible art. Really, it's like a almost like one of those cards that came in DVDs.
Dude, that's crazy, dude.
Isn't that cool?
My mind is blown a little bit. Honestly, that's pretty damn crazy. Do I feel like an idiot a little bit? Yes, because I should have noticed that, but I
Well,
honestly
I
do not
mean,
remember seeing that, dude.
who was pulling out the artwork on VHS tapes back then?
That makes this release even cooler. Even cooler, dude.
Mm,
Anyways, good stuff, dude.
hell yeah.
Good stuff. Moving on to now, this VHS tape I just bought recently from eBay. I think I bought it 2 or 3 years ago. This was the version of Zombie 2 that I rented from one of the video stores here on the island the first time I watched the film,
Mhm.
and it's this VHS art. It
See,
says
that is
Zombie
wicked.
2. The contrast is so high, the blacks are so rich that it's hard to even really see the image. Like, the first time I saw this, I didn't really realize that this was a face. You know
Right.
what I mean? Because it's so bizarre looking. But you see
Damn.
Zombie: The Dead Are Among Us, and I feel like the first couple times I rented this, because I rented it quite a bit, I didn't really notice the small 2. I figured it was part of, like, the verbiage over here. I didn't really realize it was part of the title. So, because I was like 10 or 11 the first time I saw this. But such a great release. So many memories wrapped in this release. And this is also the version that has the digital red blood raining down the screen, and it reveals Zombie 2 after he
Ooh.
says the boat can leave now. It's so trippy. I almost want to rip it and just upload that to YouTube so people can see what I'm talking about. But it's so trippy.
Well, it's
This
really
is from
interesting seeing a release of this movie. Is this a stateside VHS?
it's from TZ Video. I think so. It has all the USA Federal Bureau of Investigation jargon on the side, so I'm assuming it's American release. I'm
Maybe
not familiar with TZ Video though, you know?
yeah, it's interesting to see an American if that is an American release or a Canadian release even, just to see it just marketed as Zombie 2, considering that was mostly a,
Yeah.
a Europe thing.
TZ Video and Eddie Entertainment. So I don't recognize those things at all. Do you?
No,
So
I wonder if that's an expensive tape or kind of a rare tape.
I tell you what, this is a heavy tape. Like it's heavy, heavy. It feels like a very good quality
I'm
release. Like
sure it
it's way
is.
like this is light. You know what I mean? Like a feather. This is like one of those VHS tapes that just feels the weight. Bizarre,
Mm,
dude. No white mold. It's like in pristine condition, dude. It's crazy. But yeah, this might be hard to find. I think I got this for like $30 off eBay, which is
mhm.
pretty pricey considering it's used, but maybe I got a steal. Maybe it's worth $100. Who knows? I'm
Dude,
just
I
glad
don't
to own
know.
it.
Yeah,
I'm just glad to
maybe
own it.
I've never seen that in my life.
Um, last but not least, as far as Zombie is concerned on VHS tape, I didn't want
Uh-oh.
to show this because it's kind of hokey, but I figured I would because it's so nostalgic.
Alright.
This is the VHS tape version that I had my grandmother when I visited her house as a kid on the weekend. After I rented this version from Blockbuster, or one of the Blockbusters here on the island, I didn't get it from Videoland, this version, I don't think. Anyways, after I rented it, I took it to her house and look, she had the double deck VHS player.
Mhm.
Record this for me, right? So she recorded the version on here and I labeled it. So this is my original owned version of Zombie
Oh, man.
from the 90s
I love
in my
stuff like that.
10-year-old handwriting on an RCA videotape. Dude, crazy. You want to talk about retro nostalgia?
There's people that do you have commercials on that?
I think there's other stuff on here probably, but I can't really recall. I'd have to put it into a tape player. It's
Dude.
just the movie.
There's a market for people that like to buy tapes like that, like homebrew tapes on
Right.
TV so they can see commercials and stuff with them.
Yeah, I have this is off topic, but I do have a homebrew. Back in 93, my mom recorded the Simpsons Halloween Scare-a-thon, which was
Mm.
like the first 4 episodes put together, all the commercials, all the good stuff. And I'm like, I should like sell this, make copies of it and sell it because it's so damn nostalgic. But that's another topic. Yeah, we've covered this. That's all the VHS tapes right there. You want to move on to DVDs next, Blu-rays next, 4Ks next, or the soundtracks? I got a couple. Let's move on to the soundtracks. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you're steering the ship.
I'm
You're in
steering the ship.
charge tonight. I want to
This
go
is
where
the
your
Death
brain's
Waltz.
flowing.
Okay, this is the Death Waltz soundtrack to Zombie 2.
Dude, hold
Um,
on. Hold on. That is fucking amazing.
yeah, I did not buy this firsthand. I got it used because I missed the initial sale.
They killed it with the artwork.
Yeah, yeah. Do you have this too?
No. See,
Yeah.
Death Waltz was the first. I'm assuming this this release is from like 2013, 12 even.
Let's see if it says it anywhere.
Because they were the company I was buying from right when I got into the vinyl resurgence, like 2013, 12. And I feel like I don't buy from them a whole lot anymore. Not because I don't want to, but just because I don't know. I feel like Waxwork is the company that's in everybody's face now.
For some reason, I thought I heard that Death Waltz became Waxwork. Is that inaccurate?
I don't know. I don't know. So they might have been the ones that got bought out by Funko and then they got terminated. I'm not sure.
Whoever handled the vinyl before I got it did not do a very good job. It's got a lot of scratches on it, so I'm kind of pissed off about that. But I'm assuming it still plays. I have yet to put it into a record player. But the liner notes here and stuff, the sequences and the notes in the back, I see a quote from Graham Humphreys and Stephen Thrower, and they're marked 2012. So I'm assuming this is from back in 2012,
Wow. Yeah,
which I
dude.
think Death Waltz was pretty new, right? At that point.
I think so. I
Yeah.
think so. That is gorgeous.
It came with a really cool poster. It came with a full-size poster of this artwork, and I could not find the poster tonight. I think I have it packed away, so I apologize. I'll break it out another point.
Classic black vinyl, you said?
It is classic black vinyl.
There we go. Damn, I didn't know you had that.
Yeah, I love that. I like the colored vinyls are cool, but they're so gimmicky. I rather just have standard black vinyl. There's just something about it that feels more
Agreed.
real. Yeah,
I wish they didn't make them 180 grams. I wish they made that thin, nice, thin, flimsy vinyl from back in the day. Like that's just the way I like it. I don't prefer to get
I hear you.
reissued 180-gram stuff. I'd like to go to the flea markets and get classic original pressings. Like that's just how I roll. To me, they
Is the
sound better.
right? Is the mindset supposed to be that the needle won't wear out the record as quick if they're the heavier vinyl? Is that the point of contention,
I don't know.
or
You
they
know what?
just
I
make it
really don't.
heavier? They'll pay more.
I don't know, man. I really don't know. I think there's a number of things to it, probably, and maybe it has to do with being able to remaster the stuff, or um, usually like the less songs you can put on the side and have more spaces, the more fidelity you can have. Like a
Mhm.
lot of times nowadays, like when bands put out records, they'll put the record out on 2 vinyl and they'll have only 3 songs aside. That way the grooves are wider for the needle to go through each song. And that's
Right.
supposed to be able to, there's that. I don't know. I don't know. Now it's all about designer vinyl. Everything gets colored and has swirls on it, which I'm not hating. I'm really glad vinyl's a thing, but I mean, to me, nothing just beats the sound of that cheap. I say cheap, just that flimsy, thin vinyl. That's
Right.
just how I roll. That's just how
Right.
I roll.
I hear you.
What else you got?
Let's move on to the final 4 soundtracks real quick that are zombie related. Get through those real quick. These are fun
Yeah.
releases. I got the Goblin Zombie score
Oh man.
on CD. I do love CDs. I have no bias against CDs. I like vinyl. I like CDs, but I do find personally I do like the clarity of CDs better than a lot of vinyls sometimes. Um, Again, I know that's sacrilegious to a lot of people, but
When'd you get
yeah,
that?
I got this I think 3 or 4 years ago. I'm pretty sure I got it off Amazon brand new. I'm pretty sure this is a straight import from Italy.
Such a good score, the Goblin score, dude. Look at that, man.
This soundtrack is so killer. Like I love this is such a good soundtrack to just put on as background music. You know what I mean?
It
It's
is.
so every track is just so good.
They're the best. Nobody can touch Goblin.
No, for sure.
Incredible.
So good. Yeah, this
What's
is
your
an
favorite?
Italian import.
What's your favorite cut?
Oh
Are
man,
you an Argento
put
guy
me on
like
the
me?
spot. I I've only seen I couldn't tell you how many cuts I've actually seen at this point. I
Right.
wouldn't know the name of them. I need to get that box set, right? But the American, I guess the American theatrical version, this version, whatever this was,
Yeah.
the standard version, I loved, right? My uncle had the big black, I think it was a 3-disc DVD box set back in the day, the black with the
Oh,
red letters.
that's a
And that
coveted
had,
release.
yeah, that had the Argento cut on there. And I loved it, right? I loved it. Commercial.
That's fine.
Uh,
I'm digging it.
yeah, but it was just so, I don't know. It's hard to choose. I'm sure I've seen more cuts than that. I actually have a bootleg Dawn of the Dead, which I'll show in a minute. I'm not sure which cut's on there. It might
Yeah.
be a totally different cut, but I've loved them all. I
Right.
know there's like 6 of them, right? I'm sure that every single one is good in its own right. How
Well,
could it not be?
I think there's 3 official, legitimate. There's like the theatrical, the director's cut, and the Argento cut. But there's also other cuts I have that are like whatever footage could possibly be scraped up to put into it. Like I have a cut that's a homebrew that
Mm,
is long, Brandon. It takes
I
a
love it.
while to watch. It's
I
got
would love
every
it.
drop of information, any droplet of footage that has been released, which I still think there's more that hasn't, but it's a long cut of the movie.
That's awesome. Yeah, the
So
Argento cut, dude, I appreciated the how he took out all of the hokey Americanized stuff. I love that shit.
I love the Argento cut.
So good. This is a CD soundtrack for Day of the Dead.
Classic. That's a
This is
great
a really
score.
weird release. I don't know where this came from. I got it off Amazon, but I think it was a Create Space release because this is the format that I used to sell my own soundtracks on. It's
Is that
not
a
a press,
CDR?
it's a CDR. Professionally printed CDR, but it's a CDR and it has the same barcode that my releases used to have from Create Space. And they would sell directly to Amazon. So I'm
Right.
pretty sure that's what this is, the same kind of format. And I guess maybe Harrison decided to put it on here before they re-released the official soundtrack a couple years later. But it's basically the bare bones vinyl rip. It's only got 6 tracks. Very strange. Good soundtrack, pretty good quality, but it sounds and feels like a vinyl rip. It's
Wow.
weird, dude. It's bizarre.
I wouldn't be
I'm not even
against a
sure if it's
vinyl rip.
official. I'm not even sure if it's official, you know? And like the inside is just straight up
Wow.
library status. So
No kidding. Was it a budget buy though? Was cheap?
I think it was like $12, on Prime a couple years ago. I'm sure you can't get it now, but I have a feeling it was official. It was just sort of a release it yourself kind of thing. I'm assuming. That's what I
Right.
assume. I should deep dive that and see what's going on.
Yeah, for sure. I'd
But
be interested in knowing more about that because I know they used to they would print DVDs on demand.
yeah, exactly.
So
Do you have this, Christian? The official expanded release from a couple years ago. This came out probably 5-6 years ago.
I think Waxworks vinyl release pretty much has the similar track listing. It's a 2 vinyl release, and
Yeah,
it's a
this is
lot of
2
music
CDs.
cues.
So many music. It's so damn good. It's an can't speak. It's an exhaustive source.
The main
Of Day of the Dead
suite
music.
that main suite, that theme that goes ticka boom dun dun
Love it.
dun.
That's
Oh
probably the
man,
best, my favorite piece of music off there.
it's so
Yeah.
good.
The Dead Walk is what it's
The
called.
Dead
I think you're
Walk.
talking about.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't know what I'm thinking. I
It's
might
from
be confused with Dawn of the
it's
Dead.
in the DVD menu screen, right?
Oh,
That same track. I love
it's
it.
a beautiful, moody piece of xylophone-esque do do do
Right.
do do do. Oh man, it's such a good piece of music.
It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah,
I'm right there with you. Yeah, I'm so happy with this release. I do want to get the vinyl. I didn't realize there was a vinyl release with it. That kind of
I'd have
blows my mind.
that may be the absolutely most expansive version. Then the vinyl has a lot of music on it, but it may be the same. But if not, that's definitely looks like the most comprehensive.
Yeah, this has 28 tracks on disc 1 and 7 tracks on the other. It's crazy.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Love this soundtrack. One of the best soundtracks on the planet, as far as I'm concerned. The best zombie soundtrack of all time, as far as I'm concerned.
I think I would agree with that.
Dude, so damn good. So hypnotic. And then last but not least, as far as soundtracks go, the Italian release of Zombie 2 on CD from Beat Records Company. And also it shares the soundtrack with Cat in the Brain.
That
So,
is that's such a great image.
isn't that crazy? Great soundtrack.
Yeah, the zombie soundtrack really is good.
I think it's called Cat in the Brain. Am I right? Or is that called Cat in the Brain?
Yeah.
It's got to be. Yeah.
I think it's a 90s Fulci movie.
Dude, so bizarre.
Oh,
what a bizarre release, man. Like, just insane.
Oh, that's cool. A little mini poster in there.
Yep.
Yeah, Cat in the Brain.
Anyways, that's it for the soundtracks.
Hell yeah, dude.
I just love the music. I feel like zombie movies inherently have some of the most moody, creepy soundtracks available.
Oh, they do.
There's a lot more to play through, man. Where do you want to go next? Is this up to me? You want me to go for it?
You're the conductor.
Okay, let's talk about the zombie packs, dude. I feel like there's no way you don't have these. I don't believe you, Christian. I just don't believe you. There's no way you don't have the zombie pack on DVD.
I have something of that caliber, but I have that. That's one with Killing Birds. I have
Killing
that.
Birds 4 and 3. So
I have that.
Dude, this is such a great piece. I fucking love this box set so much.
That doesn't have Flesh Eater in it, though, does it?
It does not.
See, that's the one I have.
From Shriek Show. Dude, I forgot all about that brand.
I had never heard of it. I have that, though.
2005. Dude, this is almost 20 years old. That's so bizarre.
Yeah,
it's crazy to me too, because in the early 2000s, I was renting these exact versions of these movies from Blockbuster.
No kidding.
Before this release, I'm assuming before this release came out. That's where I familiarized myself with Zombie 3, 4, and 5 was through Blockbuster somehow.
Living after death,
dude. Classic song.
I still gotta cover that.
Dude, I love it. I don't care how cheesy that song is.
Have you seen Killing Birds? Because that movie sucks.
There's like one zombie and he's like a mummy at the very end, right?
Dude,
like, what the hell? Why is that a zombie film? I don't understand.
It's so funny. It's so funny because Piz got that Blu-ray movie of that, and he reviewed it, What kills me about Piz's review though, he'll be like, "Yeah, this movie's really bad," but he'll make the review good, and I'm like, "Oh,
Right.
I gotta get it."
Dude,
You know, I didn't,
I
but that
I feel like
movie sucks.
it's if it wasn't a Zombie 5 movie, if it was just called Killing Birds like it's supposed to be called, would you enjoy it a little bit? Because I feel like it wasn't a bad film. It was just not a film that I would watch again.
Yeah,
You know what I
it's
mean?
hard. Yeah, it's hard to answer that. It's kind of like, well, if it wasn't called Halloween 3, but
Exactly.
the issue is I can't go back and change time. I can't go back and watch it without knowing it's Zombie 5.
I hear you.
So it's hard
Yeah,
for me to say, but I did think the movies just suck. I think the best one out of those 3 is Zombie 4.
I agree, hands down. Zombie 4 eats Zombie 3 for breakfast, okay? Because they're like Pet Cemetery zombies in Zombie 4. They
They're
talk, they're
gross, yeah.
coherent, they're fucking
They're
fantastic.
they're like come out of a cave in the beginning
Right.
too, like that.
Yeah.
It's just they're nasty as hell.
Dude, I love it.
So
The
show
Zombie
people
Pack
that.
2.
Oh,
Oh,
this
go
is
ahead.
Zombie Pack 2. Oh yeah, just let people see close up real quick of the zombie pack, because yeah, I have that one. I didn't
Kind of
realize
a
that.
yeah. It's kind of a weird cover when you think about it. Like, it's a very strange even the back is kinda weird, like, it's very obscure. Doesn't really give
Yeah,
you a whole lot to work with.
Shriek Show. Is that what you said?
Yeah, Shriek Show. I forgot which I feel like they're an imprint of somebody else. Shriek Show. Can you see the logo there at all? Remember that
Yeah,
logo?
I do. Yeah,
I feel
I
like they
remember.
were an imprint of a different company.
Yeah, because I remember when I got it, I was looking at it and I was saying to myself, "Man, what the fuck is Shriek Show?" And then I was thinking to myself, I had to have just missed this altogether, and just not been involved in physical media enough to pay attention to a label like that.
I'm assuming it's I might be wrong about this, but there's media blasters on the back of these too, so maybe it's an imprint of that or a sub-label or whatever you wanna call it of media
Yes,
blasters.
I'm interested in this one, so let's get a good look at
Zombie
this.
Pack 2, so a
All right, first,
sequel to the first Zombie Pack.
I already like the cover art of that one a little bit better. I'm not
So
saying
good.
it's great, but it's got this ridiculous charm to it,
It does.
and I do I'm interested in the titles in this one because if I see this, I'll grab it, but, I look for them at the secondhand shops. Is that Tombs of the Blind Dead?
Nope, that's Burial Ground, so it has Burial Ground.
Dude, this is a much better pack.
Dude, look at that.
Oh my god. Is that how you saw this movie for the first time? Burial Ground? Oh, there's the iconic poster zombie on the
Yeah,
disc.
exactly, yep. Such a very glossy disc too, like, you don't see discs like this very often, and it's a pressed disc, it's not a DVD-R, it's a real thing, but it's
Right.
so high gloss, dude.
Wow.
Um, but yeah, it's, I feel like I never saw that I think I've said this before, but I always wanted to rent the VHS from Videoland. I don't think I ever did, so this might be actually the, inaugural viewing of this movie for me, in its entirety at least. I might have seen bits and pieces of it before this, but this is really my solid forte into the movie, if you will, if that makes any sense,
That
from this
artwork, they
release.
they did a sensational job on that DVD art.
Dude, hell yeah.
I mean, they I love it.
I'm so glad I didn't get rid of this box, because I would have been so pissed at myself. It comes with Flesh Eater.
Ah, man, I'm kinda surprised you didn't like it, but then again, you said you were surprised I did.
I've only seen it once. Maybe I should buy that Vinegar Syndrome release and reassess, because I saw this back when I first got this box set in 2000
So that's gotta be 5 or
early
6 if it's
2000s.
volume 2.
This says 2003, but the other one said 2005. What the hell is going on here? I don't know. Early 2000s.
I don't know what I have to imagine that is a VHS rip that they did. Um, I love that image of Bill Heinzman. I'm just telling you, dude, the Vinegar Syndrome, it's down on my shelf, but the Vinegar Syndrome 4K, Brandon, or even just the Blu-ray, they restored it from the negative, and it was shot in 16.
Yeah.
Dude, it looked incredible. Incredible. And I can only imagine just watching that movie on a real low format like that, or transfer, which is probably from a VHS.
Mhm.
I don't know if it'd been as pleasant, but
Right.
I'm telling you, it looked incredible on 4K, and I
Yeah.
really enjoyed it.
I watched your video and it got me a little bit hyped. I'm like, because I really was thinking maybe I should rewatch this, because now I feel like I'm missing out. You know what I mean? If everybody likes it, I'm like, damn, maybe I should go back and rewatch it.
Yeah, and my audience, the way what had happened was, what's that?
The Media Blasters catalog, it's inside of
Oh, the
Flesh
catalog.
Eater for some reason.
Yes. So what happened, Brandon, was I did the video on Night of Living Dead, the 30th anniversary DVD, which I don't
Right.
know. I don't know if you have that or not.
I do not have that, I don't think.
Well, you know what that is, right? It's the
Mhm.
version where John Russo added footage. Now I understand why. I mean, they did want to add footage. They had stuff they left out in the original release, and they also did that so John Russo can get some money basically for making the film, which I truly do understand.
Right.
But the fans hated it. The fans absolutely hated it. So in that video, people were responding to my Bill Heinzman does come back to reprise his role as the zombie in the beginning. He has an opening scene that's a prologue to Barbara and her brother showing up at the cemetery. Well, that's Bill reprises his role as that zombie in this added scene that plays before that. And people in my review, I guess, heard me say, I still really was happy to see Bill return. And they were like, hey, dude, if you like Bill, you need to watch Flesh Eater. Have you seen that? And then I was like, what? And so I looked into it, and then I saw that Vinegar Syndrome put it out, and I was like, oh, I have to get that. And I'm telling you, I fell in love with it. It was the best bargain bin Living Dead movie I've seen.
Right.
And when I say bargain bin Living Dead, I'm talking about, the real cheap sequels, the Necropolis, Rave to the Graves,
Right.
Children of the Living Dead. But it was really entertaining. I mean, God, dude, I loved it. And he looked great because this was 88. So this is 20 years later.
Right.
In 98, he was older. He was late 50s at that point, but he was like 44 in 88, 43 maybe. And dude, he still looked like Bill. So it's great. And here's the creepy, Brandon, here's the creepy thing. You're driving a tractor through the woods, and all of a sudden you stop because you see something that looks a little weird in the brush or under the leaves. You swipe away some of these leaves, and you see it's an effing grave site randomly in the woods. So you say, oh my God, this is a fucking casket. You open up the casket, and Bill just looks right at you, comes right out and grabs you by the throat. It was fucking incredible, dude. I love Flesh Eater. I really love it.
I'm surprised that you liked it that much, but you got me hyped up. I'm going to go back and reassess it. I got to.
Please
now I've
do.
got to. Because everybody else loves it, dude.
What's up? What else is in there?
Zombie Holocaust.
Oh, what else is that? What's the other name for that movie?
Is it Mondo Zombie? No, maybe it's Mondo Zombie. I think it is Mondo Zombie, right?
I have to look it up. It's gonna drive me nuts.
This was the first time I saw Zombie Holocaust was through this pack, and I cannot believe how similar of a film it was to Zombie 2. I cannot show some of this pamphlet or get you demonetized, but it's cool stuff in there.
Yeah.
Sorry. The Dr. Butcher was the American version.
Okay.
Dr. Butcher was the American release version, I think, what it was called here.
Right.
Because it just had the artwork inside there. Dr. Butcher, I think, is what it was called.
All right.
So
good.
Good stuff, dude.
So
I don't think there's a Zombie 3-pack, or Volume 3, I should say. It's just these two.
That's actually a pretty damn good pack.
Isn't it?
That's so cool, dude. Like, I wish I could get you to start. I wish I could get you to start posting this stuff on your Instagram. Like, taking pictures of these things and stuff.
I should start doing that.
That's
a good idea. The seed is planted.
What else we cooking
so much
with?
To get through. Let's go straight into one of our favorite franchises.
They like the long form, so you're
Do they? Good.
Oh,
I feel like I'm rambling incessantly.
People love it. If my video is not an hour long, they get upset.
All right.
They need something to drive, work out to. They need something to listen to.
That's right.
What do we got?
Long form's great. Let's go to Return. We got the first film on DVD, the original release, the 2005, I think, or 2002 release. What release was this? 2002.
Whoa, we got a hype sticker on there?
Yeah, this was like most of these are. Unfortunately, my dumbass in 2019 sold 70% of my DVD collection, and these went along with it like an idiot. You know what I mean? I sold it. So I went back to eBay a couple years ago and bought these. This is sealed. It's sealed and it's bagged.
Read me the hype sticker.
Feast on these extras. Designing the Dead featurette, which is one of the best Return of the Living Dead behind the scenes things ever, in my opinion. I loved it. Dan O'Banion talking with like the cheesy lightning bolt. Remember that? It's so damn good. Commentary with the director and more. This was probably, in addition to the Steelbook DVD of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original, the DVD version.
Right.
This was one of the best DVDs I owned back in the day with good special features that I just loved to watch and watch and watch.
I agree.
Love this. This is such a great DVD. Like, and the image is sort of 3D, so you can kind of feel it, you know?
That's
So
a
good.
that's a classic. I have that DVD. It's a classic DVD, and
Yeah.
I've never seen the hype sticker with that before though. So
Yeah.
that is wicked cool.
Bizarre, dude. Love it. I got this standard version, which I had. The one I had a slipcover, but I obviously sold it. This one did not come with one, but it's still cool. Again, this is another like release that had so many good special features.
Yeah, a lot more new ones on that one.
It did. It had new ones, and it also had the Designing the Dead featurette. So I think I watched this and I was like, oh, it has all the stuff on there. And I was thinking at the time, so you really don't have to own the old versions because they're going to always bring special features forward. Obviously, that's not the case, but
right.
At the time, I was thinking they were going to keep, second, third, fourth generation special features carrying over. But great release, good stuff. I've always thought this zombie in the back was so damn creepy. The guy in the suit with the skeletal face.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So damn good. So damn good.
Do you have the Blu-ray version of that, or?
I do. I'll get to those.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're doing Blu-rays next. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Part 2, sealed, not opened. I haven't opened these yet because there's no reason to. Because I'm buying these brand new. But I did own this. I sold it like an idiot and have it again.
You know my theory on that.
The soundtrack thing?
Yeah.
I don't know, dude.
Brandon, I think I'm right.
Do you?
No, I really do.
You got to tell the audience what we're talking about.
Tell me your thoughts on it first. Because I'm going to give you my rationale. Go ahead.
So I've been watching this movie since VHS. I have the VHS somewhere. I just don't know where it is. The soundtrack, the score to that movie always blew my mind. The soundtrack too, but the score was so good, so moody. Dude, so damn good. Everything about it, the whole film, bleak, mysterious, foreboding. And then this hellish DVD comes out in the mid-2000s. Yeah, and I bought it, excited to finally see it in relative clarity. And the soundtrack, right from the jump, is mixed up and wrong. The songs are not in the right spot, for one thing, and the score itself is entirely replaced. Now, I know your theory, which I'm assuming you're going to expand upon for the audience in a second, but to me, the soundtrack, the score, the replacement score on this version sounded like those early 2000s, mid 2000s cheesy MIDI songs you would hear everywhere. That's what it sounded like to me. Your theory still makes sense because he could have done it all on a keyboard or like a synthesizer, right? You know what I mean? But I don't know, man. I just preferred the soundtrack, the original theatrical score, over this version. So,
I'm not debating that the DVD score is better. But let's ask this question, Brandon. What makes more sense? A soundtrack being changed on a movie because they can't get the rights to the score that the composer was hired to make for the film, or a licensing issue with the bands that were on Deaf Island Records that had songs in the movie? What makes more sense to have more of a licensing issue? The record label that they partnered with and licensed bands from to put on the soundtrack, or the score that the composer made?
Right.
The songs that the bands were on from Deaf Island Records, like Julian Cope, Anthrax, Leatherwolf.
Right.
The rumor was going around for years. It was a lawsuit, not a lawsuit. It was a licensing issue for that movie, and I just accepted it. I kind of like the DVD soundtrack. It's not as good as the original, but what I like about the DVD soundtrack is it's not as bumpy and campy as the original. Though the original works legitimately perfect. I completely agree with Ken Wiederhorn that the soundtrack that they had for the movie that was finalized, the one that was used on the theatrical and VHS, is perfect. Absolutely perfect. Ken described on the special features of the Scream Factory Blu-ray, which is a sensational Blu-ray release.
It
Ken
is.
says, we had a score. I put the music to the film. I lined everything out and I sent it to Larimar to tell them, listen, I need you guys to hear this. This score is not really jiving. It's not giving me that whimsical bump that I'm looking for. It's not giving me that sound I'm looking for. He said that they agreed and they allowed him to hire another composer to make a score. Okay?
Mm.
That would make sense why song placements is different. Flesh to Flesh plays at the end credits of the DVD, but Flesh to Flesh plays when they're in the car scene in
Right.
the theatrical and car and
Exactly. And Space Hopper is a little bit shifted too
Space.
in the
Yeah,
first. Yeah.
this is what I think happened, Brandon. And this was solidified to me after I have a friend online. He goes by Steak Sauce, really cool
Mm.
guy. He
Yeah, I
said,
remember Steak.
we were talking about this one day, and he said, Christian, put your DVD in, swap the audio to French. I was like, why? He said, just do it. I swapped the audio to French on that DVD release.
Mhm.
Guess
Yep.
what music played?
Yeah, theatrical.
That's when the light bulb went off. I said, Christian, there's no fucking lawsuit. They accidentally printed out the DVDs with the score that Wiederhorn sent to Lorimar in the beginning that they needed that he wanted them to hear that didn't work.
Mm.
That's what happened. You really think if there was a lawsuit or an issue with music, that we wouldn't have heard about that besides rumors? What makes more sense, Brandon?
It makes sense. It does make perfect sense. I didn't realize he said that stuff in the commentary. That does make a lot of sense. I
Well,
assumed it was always like a 5.1 issue. Like they didn't have the right mix for the American version. That's why they released a new version, like a new kind of like new music because it made more sense with the mix. But kind of makes more sense. Damn. I don't know. I don't know, man. We
don't
need
ever get rid of
confirmation on
that
this.
DVD. That
No, I'm
makes that
not.
DVD so. It was an accident, Brandon.
We need to get to the bottom of this. We need official word from somebody on
Now,
this.
here's something I need to do, though, to figure out if I'm right or not. And
Mhm.
nobody's done this before. I'm gonna look up. I'm gonna look up the composer who did the music legitimately, meaning when it came out theatrically on
Right.
VHS. I'm gonna watch that DVD again, Brandon, or skip to the credits. And when it says music composed by, I'm gonna check the name because if
Yeah,
that
because they
is the
should have already
print,
burned in. They should have already been burned in by that point, the credits. So yeah.
Brandon, I'm right on this. I really think I'm right on this, which makes that DVD so fucking unique. If I am legitimately right.
Yeah, we gotta get to the
So
bottom. Yeah, figure it
don't
out, man. You gotta figure it out.
don't ever get rid of that. That is
No,
an
for sure.
anomaly release.
It's so bizarre.
All right, let's move on because the
Moving
client is probably like, all right, Christian, shut the fuck up.
No, man, I love this shit. The audience probably loves it too. Part 3, obviously, still sealed. Glad to have this.
Mm.
I actually didn't have this on DVD, actually. So I'm glad to own a DVD copy of it now.
That was an
That's
expensive
sealed.
DVD at FYE whenever I go to try to buy it. They always wanted like $22.99 for it. And
I
most of
remember
the
that.
DVDs I can get were cheaper.
I think that's why I never bought it because it was always expensive for some reason. Maybe they only printed a certain amount. I don't know why. It was relatively cheap on eBay.
Did you like
But
that
yeah,
the first time you saw it?
the first time I saw this on VHS way back in the mid 90s when it first came out, I remember seeing because this poster art is the same on the VHS. I
Man, they
remember
drew me
seeing
right
it.
in.
Yeah, I saw it in Videoland on the new release section, and I didn't realize it was a return part 3. I just saw the chick, and my mom said, "That's part 3 of Return of the Living Dead," because she was a big fan of the series too. And we rented it and went home. And the first time I watched it, I did really enjoy it. I loved it. I loved the Riverman thing. I loved the new version of Tarman who rips his face away from his neck. The
Right.
whole thing was good. I was just so surprised as a 7, 8-year-old. Even then I noticed the shift. It was so brooding and serious compared to the first two. You know, it's just so bizarre of a film. It's weird that it's a part 3. Like, this could be a very good standalone zombie flick. It doesn't have to be connected at all. It's
But you
such
know
a
what?
strong
But
film.
yeah, but you know what? It's a Return of a Living Dead film, and it's a damn good one.
It's so good. I think it's extremely, to this day, I feel like it's still underrated. Because I feel like there's a lot of people who just haven't seen it for some reason.
It's a Brian Usna film too.
It's
You
so good.
know,
It's got a really good, I love the downtown grimy LA feel because they shot so many things down in like the what are they called? The sewer pipes? What are they called? The like where they shot T2 at, I think, is where they shot a lot of the stuff with the Riverman and stuff like that.
I know what you're talking about,
The
but I don't know what
industrial
the
area. So
yeah.
good. Love it. Anyways.
Yeah, I like the Tar Man in that one. That kind of
Yeah, he's less
like
drippy,
that.
but he's
Like
so
he had
right.
like his like the the hands around. Like yeah, it was a cool design.
Yeah, it was great.
I believe the guy that made the Michael Myers masks in the last movie, Chris Nelson, worked on one of the used to hired a bunch of departments,
Mhm.
FX departments to do that movie, which is kind
Yeah.
of like why some of the makeup stuff just kind of looks like different from scene to
Mhm.
scene because it's legitimately different people doing them.
Right.
You know, do you remember that hokey ass shot of the Riverman at the end where he's like, was his head on a stick or something? Like he was
It's
something.
like it's yeah, he's like in a robot machine and yeah, it's
It's a
so
good.
bizarre.
It's yeah. The ending of that movie gets really weird, but like
I
I don't know.
I do
I
feel
love
like
Return of the Living Dead 3, but it's not. And Brandon, most people will disagree with us because I think you're like me. Most people prefer 3 over 2. I prefer 2 over 3.
oh, 2 over 3 hands down. 1 over 2, 2 over 3, 3 over 4 and 5. God help us, but
Well,
you know,
Rave to the Grave I think is a little bit better than
I
Necropolis.
agree. I absolutely agree.
And
I watched
they have a pretty good Tar Man in Rave to the Grave,
they
man.
do. Finally own these. I haven't opened them. I'm not going to. I'm assuming this will probably. Do you think these will get a Blu-ray release down the road eventually? Like, there's such weird oddities in the series.
I
They
hope
didn't do
so.
well. I don't know.
Brandon, I'm not saying I started a revolution with those, but like I did videos on those. I'm really proud of them, Brandon.
I
I
remember they
really
were
am
good.
because
You got me hyped up.
I told the story
You did,
and there was a story to tell. And Brandon, take me back 2005. Were you watching these when they came out?
dude. So I remember, and I think it was probably late 2004. The internet was not primitive, but it was more primitive than it is now, right? We still had Flash websites,
People had
really
family
weird.
computer rooms.
Right, exactly. And I remember hearing about them making a new Return of the Living Dead film, not one, but two. They were going to be shooting them back to back, and I was just hyped up. I was stoked.
Where were
I
you
didn't
reading
know
this? Like a
it was.
arrow in the head?
I think they had an official website at the time for these films, and I
Okay.
swear to God, it was something weird like Return of the Living Dead 4, 5. It was something bizarre and on the nose. I swear to God, somebody in the comments, you got to back me up that this site existed. But it was a website, and if you went to the website, eventually they had a trailer for both films. And it's weird because I don't know if you remember this, Christian, but the initial trailers, which I cannot find on YouTube, said Return of the Living Dead 4, Necropolis, Return of the Living Dead 5, Rave to the Grave. They weren't just subtitles. They actually had 4 and 5 in the
Oh,
name.
the
I've got to
name.
find those trailers, dude. They've got to be online somewhere.
Where'd you get those DVDs? Were they on Amazon?
These were on Amazon. No, I might have got these off eBay. I think these were from eBay.
Got them shrink
But
wrap. Were they cheap for you or
they were very, very cheap. I was surprised. I feel like these are so niche and they didn't make very many copies, I would assume,
right?
because it's a sci-fi movie. But yeah, my buddy Tom and I, when it came out in October, I think they came out in October 2005, back to back. We watched them both. The world premiere on Sci-Fi. We watched them both back to back. And even then, with the TV versions, I realized that 5 was better than 4. But I will say this real quick.
Go ahead.
Part 3, at the end, where they're introducing the zombies that are sort of like robotically enhanced, like Riverman's enhanced. Some of the other zombies are enhanced. I feel like they sort of used that as the DNA for Necropolis. Like Necropolis was the further expanded experiments of the ideas from part 3. That's how I
Sure,
connect them.
sure. I
Because
definitely can see it that way.
because the trioxin is different in 4 and 5. It's trioxin 5. It's not 2, 4, 5 trioxin. That's always been weird to me a little bit, you know?
I just wanted to show this really quick, Brandon, before we continue with your list. I have a Hollywood video copy for
Wow.
Necropolis, and then I have a Blockbuster video copy for Rave
Dude,
to the
that's so
Grave.
awesome.
Yeah. But I have homebrews of these movies that a friend sent to me, and what's cool about it is they look better, and they actually look pretty damn good compared to those DVDs. And I remember asking him, I was like, how do these movies really look that much better? And he explained this to me. I'm sure you probably know this. He goes, well, when those movies premiered on TV, they had pretty good masters of those that were on television. But when
Mm,
they go to DVD, they get compressed
mhm.
for the
Yeah,
format and stuff. So Rave to the Grave is full 1080p, and Necropolis is 720p on my Blu-ray. And
nice.
I was just like, wow, these look really good. And they do. They actually look really good. I don't even know how they're able to get that. How they're able to get their hands on those master. I don't know, but he was like, "Oh yeah, if it had a good rip on
Mhm.
television, we can get it and rip that and use that for an upscale or whatever. Use that to put it on a disc on a higher bit rate, etc. Whatever." But yeah, I mean they actually look really good compared to
That's
those
awesome.
DVDs. So,
Yeah.
dude, the fact that there's an Alice Cooper song from Brutal Effing Planet, one of my favorite records from him, on Necropolis is just mind blowing.
Is
But
there? I don't
honestly,
remember that.
yeah, Cold Machines from Alice Cooper is on Necropolis, and it's actually a slamming song from Brutal Planet. That's when Alice was competing with Zombie and Manson, so to speak, getting into the grunge, not the grunge, the industrial
Mhm.
metal. And that record slams. I put Brutal Planet up against pretty much anything from that time in terms of just like
Right.
quality. But then there's I Stand Alone from Godsmack and Necropolis. And it's so funny hearing it in there. I don't know, because I'm not a big Godsmack fan. I find them really cheesy. But they were huge at the time, man.
Huge. Yeah.
Huge band.
I don't recall either of those songs being in that movie. Now you're kind of blowing my mind a little bit.
Oh, dude, I'll never forget when I was watching it to do those videos. I was like, well, let me just I did all the research on the movies. And I was like, well, of course I have to watch them. So that's how I found Cold Machines in the movie from with Alice. And I remember hearing it. I was like, I know Alice. I know Alice's voice when I hear it. And I was like,
Right.
holy shit, that's from Brutal Planet, which just blew my mind. So yeah, the Acropolis actually had a good soundtrack, at least with some decent songs. So yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Good stuff, dude.
All right, where are we going next?
A few more Blu-rays and DVDs from this collection. We have the standard Blu-ray for Return. Good stuff.
It's
I
one of
did.
the best Scream Factory releases of all time, dude.
It's one of the earliest ones too, right? Or no?
During the golden era, is 2016.
Okay, yeah. I love this release. Great special features.
They had
Obviously
everything on there.
they did. Yeah, I loved it.
More Brains, the documentary.
Yep.
Brian Peck in there.
God,
It's
that's such
crazy,
a weird
right?
situation, man. Like,
He narrates the documentary.
way to put a black spot on the whole legacy. You know what I mean? What an asshole. But
I agree.
this sounds like sacrilegious to some people, I'm sure.
I hope that gets a 4K, by the way.
Oh, it's got to. I feel like I enjoyed this Blu-ray better than this Blu-ray.
Well, part 2 is shot so well. The colors are so perfect. All those shades of blue and the zombie makeups with Kenny Myers. Kenny Myers did such a good job on the
He
makeup
did, dude.
designs. He killed it. I mean, Tarman, you could argue it's not as good. I actually think the design of that Tarman is perfect for that movie.
Oh, that tar man freaks me out, dude. He's so damn tall and lumbering. I'm like, I would not want to encounter that dude in that sewer. Part 2 is a damn
This dude,
masterpiece.
that sewer is great.
so good. That's such a good set piece. I want that in my backyard. That fucking sewer set piece.
Yeah, I
But
bet you do.
oh yeah. So moving on to
But yeah,
obviously.
Brandon, you gotta check out those special features on part 2, man. I'm assuming you haven't watched them.
I have.
Oh, you have? Okay, because dude, I mean,
I've
they
exhausted these 2 Blu-rays. Yeah.
that is a killer release. The Ken Wiederhorn interview was so informative, so informative.
I remember when I saw the interview with him, I was kind of mind blown that they got him to do it because I always heard that he didn't like this movie. You know what I mean? But I have not listened to the commentary that you're talking about. I haven't listened to that. I need to go back and listen to it, I guess.
Well, when he talks about the music, that was during the interview.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, he talked about the Ken Wiederhorn interview. He talks about, we scored the movie. I sent it to Lorimar, and then I said, you guys need to hear what I'm talking about. That way, it doesn't work. So that's why I say what we were talking about earlier with the DVD release. So
I need to go back and check it out again because I don't remember that part at all.
Brandon,
that's crazy, dude.
I pray that movie gets a 4K. It's something's going on with Return of the Living Dead Part 2 because overseas it hasn't gotten a Blu-ray. It was Lorimar Pictures, which is kind of a weird distribution arm, especially during that time. I don't think there's a whole lot of Lorimar movies. I know they were a TV company because they did Lorimar did Full House, but I don't know. Yeah, I know overseas I have a lot of viewers that hit me up. They're like, "Where's Return Part 2 for us? Like, who's going to put that out?" I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what arm had the rights to that movie back in the day. Who distributed it back in the day? I'm sure it was also Warner Brothers, but yeah. So the America is the only place that's gotten a Blu-ray for Return of the Living Dead Part 2. Great artwork. They got similar art style to Part 1, so they look great next to each other.
I even think the artwork's better on the Part 2 Blu-ray.
Yeah, but that's
better.
They killed it on Part 1 as well, but Part 2 is fantastic.
So good.
Where are we going next, Brandon?
Obviously the More the Brains DVD, one of the best DVD things that I own. One of the few things I didn't get rid of. You know what I mean?
Incredible.
So good. This blew my mind, dude, the first time I watched this. It was such an exhaustive, like when I bought this, I don't think I heard about this coming out. I just sort of saw it and bought it, and I could not believe they got everybody. It was so well made. Like I get hyped up for the film every time I watch this damn thing.
Oh, are you kidding me?
Dude, like
and especially at the end of the documentary when they start playing the SSQ remake of Tonight We Make Love Till We Die.
Great version. I love that remake of that song.
Stacy still looked good in that documentary, man.
Even the smaller, less cool documentaries for Part 2 and 3 that are on here, because I think they're on here too, aren't they?
Yeah, there's like
small versions of Part 2 and 3. Like they were cool, but I wish we had gotten expanded versions of Part 2.
Yeah, They Won't Stay Dead was 29 minutes in length, and then Love from Beyond the Grave, which was that's how nerdy I am, Brandon. Love from Beyond the Grave was about 19 minutes.
Not a lot. It's not long enough, dude. I need longer versions of those things.
It's not, but they sunk their teeth pretty good for Part 2. And for the people listening, they put that documentary, the 29-minute documentary for Part 2, onto the Scream Factory release. And Vestron did get Love from Beyond the Grave onto the Vestron, if memory serves, but they also did a great job of getting new interviews with the writer, John Penny, the writer for Return of the Living Dead 3, who's a really cool guy. I'd love to interview him. They got new interviews with Brian Usna. Return of the Living Dead 1, 2, and 3 have gotten sensational releases from both Scream Factory and Vestron, respectively. So, you can't go wrong with those.
No, so damn good. The funniest part to me is when go ahead.
I'm gonna have to pull up my this is all about you, but before we end, I'm gonna have to pull up my Mortal Zombie release to show the audience one more time.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? That Return of the Living Dead 3? Oh, dude, I'm gonna blow your fucking mind.
Oh shit. The funniest part of this documentary, dude, I laugh my ass off every time he says it. It's when James Caron so casually says, "I slept with everybody to get this film." The way he says that shit is fucking hysterical.
He's hysterical. I miss him. I wish he was still alive.
R.I.P. to James Caron. So let's move on to. I got so many more of these titles, dude. I'm gonna try to stop rambling as long as I have.
We're at an hour and 24 minutes.
Let me know if you want me to speed through these. We got Zombie, the standard DVD cut or version. I think this was the first DVD version released.
Anchor Bay
in America. Anchor Bay. Yep, there's the sailboat logo right there. Fantastic release. Nothing special. Has the Voodoo insignia, which I love. I'm assuming you have this too, right, Christian? This version.
No, I have a few versions, mostly Blu-ray. Like I've got the Blue Underground releases.
It's basically just the clamshell done again. You know what I mean? That I showed you earlier.
Right.
I'm assuming it's probably. I wonder if they made these at the same time. You know what I mean? That's what I wonder. Because they're so identical.
I don't
But
know.
good
It's a good question.
Great release. I also have this. I was very happy to own this 25th anniversary version of the film.
That's
Zombie
badass.
2. Yeah. I love the way the cover art looks on this. It's like brown and gray. So damn good. 2 discs. So damn good.
Ugh, that title card zombie. Dude, those zombies are just gross. They look like
So
they're
gnarly.
mud. They look like mud.
Yeah. The makeup effects artist said they called them like walking pots of clay because they were basically covered in clay and like
Right.
pottery dirt and stuff. Had great special features in Italian. I think that they were subbed, but they were great content on this release. I was super happy, super happy with this release.
I've never
Stoked
seen it
about that.
before. That's killer.
Really,
Never.
FYE special. This was like $25.
Very nice.
Too damn good, dude. I love that shit. Obviously, I think this was the first Blu-ray, the standard Blu-ray of Zombie.
Oh, with the slip.
Yeah, with a slip.
See, that's I'd if I could find that, I'd get that. That's nice.
Does yours not have the slip on it?
Well, I have the 3-disc version.
Oh, okay, yeah. So there's that. I have the 3-disc with the
That's what I got.
Yeah,
There was 3 covers.
yeah. I think this one was the best.
I agree. That's the one I chose. There's the bridge, and then there's the ice pick. But I went with the classic zombie. That's my way I watch the movie still. I haven't gotten a 4K. I'm kind of waiting for Arrow to put out an actual 4K themselves because I think it would be really cool. But Blue Underground has a 4K themselves. But there you go.
Yeah.
I
have yet to watch this release. I'm sure it'll be good, but it's starting to kind of all blur together, dude, because there's so many releases that we've seen at this point. I'm like, how much better can it really get that I'm going to notice? You know? I don't know.
Well, especially with that 3-disc release, because that's a 4K scan from the camera negative, and it looks incredible.
I thought it looked fine. Like I didn't need anything else beyond that point at all.
Right.
I just got this a couple weeks ago. I'm not sure how old it is. It's limited edition, 218 out of 333. I did a video on this.
I know. That's what I wanted to.
Dude, I think it's a German release, but I'm not really sure because it says Zombie 2. It doesn't say Voodoo or Voodoo, as it's pronounced, I think, in Germany. But it's just a bizarre. When I saw this on eBay,
looks like a coloring book.
It does. And this is probably one of my favorite physical medias because it feels like a library audiobook. That you see in the library, like the cassette tapes are inside the plastic. It pops. It's a cool House by the Cemetery.
I was gonna say, what is Freudstein doing in there?
No, dude. Voodoo. Cover this up so we don't get demonetized. Voodoo on the back. And I love the disc is so good, obviously, but it has this like little foam piece here. And it's like foamy, and it's so comfortable to press and take out. It's just bizarre, dude.
You know what? Yeah, I have the my Blair Witch Project box set that has 1 and 2 in it. It's in a VHS case, has those too, and I love it.
Dude, I love it.
That's a really cool release.
Dude, I love it. It's so crazy, dude.
Show me close it and show me the spine, because I feel like it's not boxed, it's actually curved.
It is curved. See?
Dude, what the fuck?
Isn't that wild or what? It's from XT Video, it says.
It looks like it's like an old Italy release, though.
Yeah.
Oh, that's German. That's German. Is that NSM Records? Is that what that says? Bottom right?
Yes.
That's German.
Okay. I figured so. And then it's weird that it says Zombie 2. You would think it would just say Voodoo on there. I don't know. It's just a bizarre. That's what confused me and threw me off. But yeah. Very stoked. It's Region B, so I can't play it at the moment, but I'm just happy to own it.
So. Yeah, it's not a 4K, it's a Blu-ray.
It's a Blu-ray.
You might well, you could try it. You might luck out. Sometimes those things will actually play.
I haven't tried it yet in the Xbox, but no, Xbox will play a lot of stuff. So I'm hoping. But it's probably the coolest looking Zombie Tube thing I own. It's so damn cool. Like, look at that.
It's whacked out, dude.
It's crazy. It's got like the rainbow border. What the hell is going on here? It's like a comic book.
Yeah.
Anyways. All right, we're on to the last stack of zombie content.
Here we go.
Okay, so here is the Dawn of the Dead Blu-ray that I own. This is
why I say you have a sleeper collection.
So I bought this from eBay, right? About 6, 7 years ago. I thought this was an official release, okay? Because it was brand new. It was shrink wrapped when I got it. Come to find out, this is what the disc looks like.
Is it a Blu-ray R? Oh. Wait up, is that
And
what's wrong with that? It says DTS audio on it, and it's supposed to be. Oh, it's a
it's a
Blu-ray R.
BDR. Yeah. So I complained. I got my money back. The guy didn't ask for his money back. He was selling it. I think he got it from somewhere else and sold it to me. I don't think he was the guy who made it because he was like, "Oh, I didn't realize it was a bootleg." I kind of complained, and I
Yeah.
kept it. And I finally decided to grit my teeth and watch it because I didn't. I wanted to. I don't want. I want. I can't speak. I wanted an official release, dude. I wanted crisp clarity. Dawn of the Dead. I wasn't aware of all the different versions out there or the lack of versions available to us.
Right.
But this was damn good. There's no menu. It plays immediately when you pop it in. There's no
Do you
menu
like
of any
do you
kind.
like that better?
It was kind of old school, but the transfer looks fantastic.
Yeah.
It does not seem like a bootleg. I don't know how he got this or where it came from, but it's a damn good bootleg. I cannot believe it. Have you seen this before?
The actual release of it, yeah, but not a bootleg version of that.
Does the
Like,
actual release look the same like this?
not as high contrast.
Yeah, it's just so what a weird ass
You see
release,
how
dude.
the
Yeah.
colors are boosted.
Okay, that makes sense. So I guess
I'd
maybe he
ba
just
if you
ripped the
backed it off
Blu-ray.
about if you backed the contrast of that off about 10%, then you're cooking. And then you gotta
But
make
yeah,
the beyond high definition shiny.
right.
You know what I'm
Oh,
talking
true.
about?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
Now that you kind of I can see all the red flags on it now.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, it was free. In the end of the day, it was free, so I can't
Yeah.
complain too much. Looks great. Still own Dawn of the Dead. Obviously, the fantastic Day of the Dead DVD, which we have talked about endlessly before.
Yeah, does yours have the yeah, that's it. That's what I was about to ask about.
This might be one of the best. This might be the best DVD version of anything I've ever owned.
Was that Anchor Bay?
I think it was. Let me check real quick. Um, yes, it was Anchor
Yeah.
Bay.
That is such a good release. When I found that, dude, I freaked out at the Second and Charles.
Dude, so damn good.
That's how you release a movie.
It is. It's so damn good. I will never get rid of that. This release was pretty good too. This standard Blu-ray release.
Hold on to that.
It's a Scream Factory, wasn't it?
Yep.
I need to go back and watch these documentaries because they're starting to blur together. I feel like the documentaries on this version were better than the new ones we got on here. But it's so funny watching this because Joe Pilato is still pretty fat in his interviews. And then
Mhm.
he sort of dropped all the weight for the ones on here. And it's such a bizarre, like, what the hell happened? But yeah, I love both these releases. Which one do you prefer, obviously, as far as special features go?
Aesthetic wise, the DVD, but that's a good Blu-ray from Scream Factory, and they got good George interviews on there, and
Mhm.
he pretty much finally admits in there that that's his favorite movie he's done.
Yeah.
At least dead movies. I remember him just saying like he played the movie for his kids one time and they loved it, and he was like, "Yeah, I think it's my best one."
So good.
But yeah, they can't find the negative for that movie, so they may not ever have a 4K. And
Really?
Cliff McMillan said that, or he told me that the inner positive that they used to make that Blu-ray, that's now missing. So now
Missing.
they don't know where it's
Yeah.
at. Because I mean, Scream Factory would probably love to do a 4K of that because everybody's like, "Why have you guys not done Day of the Dead? Like, what? What?" So the reason it hasn't happened is because they can't find the negative. So that may be the last release that we get.
I would pay $100 for a 4K of that film. Give me a huge box set of that movie, dude.
Oh yeah,
Dude, God, make it
absolutely.
happen. We've discussed Land of the Dead before. I know you love the film. I bought the collector's Scream Factory box set. It has the slipcase on it and stuff, but I have not opened it yet, so I can't tell you anything about the special features or what I liked. I need to break this open and give it another chance.
It's not bad. You know, I hate that artwork though.
That's so bad. I just I don't know, man. After Day of the Dead, I was glad he was back, but I thought Diary that followed after was way better, but that's just me.
I agree, but see, me and you will get a lot of shit about that.
Oh yeah,
Diary of the Dead's getting a new steelbook. I know you're not gonna get it, but I'm just saying I think it's really cool that one of
that's
George's
random.
movies are yeah.
Is it new special features or anything, or just a steal?
Oh, I doubt there's anything new.
I might buy that just for the oddity because that sounds bizarre that Diary of the Dead's getting re-released all of a sudden.
I'm happy about it. I like Diary of the Dead. I think it's much better than Survival.
Oh yeah, dude. Dude, I'll go through these quicker. Survival, I haven't even opened because I was so disappointed when I first saw the DVD of this film.
It's not a bad artwork though. I like the zombie hand.
I think I got this for like $3 in a bin somewhere. But
That was his last movie.
I can't believe this is where that's the Dead series ended up. I mean, R.I.P. to George, fantastic director. It's a shame that he never got to make what was it, Road of the Dead or Twilight of the Dead, whatever it was.
Right. Twilight, I think.
But I will defend this movie until the end of
Diary's
the earth,
fun, dude. Yeah, Diary's
Diary is
good.
so good. Can't forget about Dawn of the Dead 04. I love this damn movie. It's one of the best zombie films ever made.
It's good,
A
dude.
lot of the times I do put it above the original. The original usually wins, but a lot of like more days than not, this one I prefer over the original, but it depends on the day.
I can't emphasize. I don't know why it's this good. I feel like it almost shouldn't be, but the 4K of that movie is insane. How good it looks.
I have to get that, dude. I've been sleeping on it. I know.
What makes it even better too? Hold on. Like the artwork on the 4K is so much better than that artwork. Oh, let me make my
Look at that.
the artwork, like that poster art is so much
Yep.
better. Like
It's
look
like
how
the
great
theatrical
that
poster.
is.
I love that.
Yeah, and you see all the distressing on there and everything.
Yeah.
I remember getting this just being like, oh, I love Zack Snyder, I'll get it. And then for some reason it ended up just looking effing incredible.
Does it?
I mean, ridiculously good. I was like, why
Is it
does
like a
this
note?
look so good?
It's like a noticeable upgrade from this. Really?
No pun intended, night and day. You know,
Crazy. I've got to get it.
It was so good.
I will defend this movie till the ends of the earth. I think you will too. It's just
I
so
take the baby scene out and it's perfect, in my
exactly.
opinion.
You want to talk about intense zombies? This movie
Oh,
is
it's hands
legitimately
down.
frightening, dude. Especially that third act with like the zombies on the side of the bus. They are
But
so freaky.
yeah, but it's
Those
a lot.
zombies, man.
It's different from the original, which I like.
Mhm.
They're different
Different.
movies,
Yep.
which is the
Way
best way
different.
to approach a remake a lot of ways.
Exactly. I agree.
So
I agree. Um, TJ's the best character, by the way. So just saying, throwing that out there. This is a fun one. I feel like Dimension Extreme had a lot of good titles back in the early to mid 2000s. A lot of good stuff. Diary of the Dead, obviously, Automaton Transfusion, which is this movie. Have you seen this movie?
no,
This
that
is
looks
a
insane. What is it
it
called?
was it's called Automaton Transfusion. It was shot here in my home state, I'm pretty sure, of Florida. Really bizarre frame rate. A lot of really crazy kills and zombie sequences and just terrible acting. But there's something so charming about it. I can't help but love it. I think it's fantastic. Criminally underrated. Left it open for a sequel. Never got a sequel, obviously. This is from 2007, I think. I was like my first year of college. A lot of good memories. Great film. I highly recommend you check this out. Anybody in the comments or in the
Walmart sticker on there?
video? Oh yeah, Walmart September 2008 is when I bought this. I guess.
Son of a
So
bitch.
good stuff.
That's the
Highly
golden
recommend it.
era. Golden era.
And these, I'm like back in the day at Walmart, brand new Dimension Extreme films. I'm pretty sure they were like $10 brand new, right? Like they
Oh
were not
man.
expensive movies, if I'm remembering them correctly. But dude, great stuff. We have I'll try to go through these a little bit quicker because there's so much left still. The 2 releases of Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things.
Ooh.
One of my favorite zombie flicks of all time. Some of the scariest zombies on screen ever, as far as I'm concerned. One of the moodiest zombie scores and one of the best zombie locations. That really gothic, like small island. So damn good. I cannot say enough good things about this movie.
I
Great.
agree. Bob
Great
Clark?
on all accounts. Bob Clark. I have yet to break open the 4K yet and watch it. but I'm sure it's fantastic. I'm sure it
When I
looks great.
yeah, when I got the 4K for that, it looked like somebody took my 4K case and put a hairdryer to it.
Really.
Does
That's what
yours look
mine
like
looked
that?
like. Yes, I actually sent mine back and got a replacement, and the replacement they sent me is the same problem. There's, like, creases all over the cover. You can't really see it on there.
I think
But it looks like
every single copy is like
yeah,
that.
yep.
Which
But I
now
was
I
pissed
yeah,
when I first
yeah.
got that.
It looked really good. That was shot on Super 16, I think.
I'm sure it
So
had to have been, yeah.
it's a cheaper format, but I thought it still looked really cool. Classic
Great
movie.
movie.
I'm not saying that's my
Fantastic.
favorite Bob Clark movie, but I wouldn't if somebody said that is their favorite, I wouldn't be like, "That's stupid." I'd be like, "That's fucking cool, man."
Yep, exactly.
You know? Great
Um,
title too.
great title. Great title. Night of the Comet. I feel like nobody talks about this movie enough when it comes to zombie flicks because it's not obscure, but it's just something people don't really think about, I don't think. I love this movie.
That one zombie that I I forget what he was, if it was like a cop or something.
There's a cop zombie in here, yeah.
It's this iconic image.
Yeah, I think he's a cop. He has the helmet on and stuff.
Oh, dude, so good.
It says the Blu-ray and the DVD in it, which you don't
That's
really
a
see much anymore.
No, they stopped doing that after a few years.
Yeah, this is Scream Factory.
Yeah.
I need
They
to
put that
rewatch this movie again, dude. I love this movie.
they put that on 4K last year. They did a good
Did they?
job.
Nice.
Yeah.
I saw this on VHS way back in the day, and as a kid, it kind of freaked me out for some reason. When I watched it a couple years ago, I was like, "This movie's awesome, but it's not scary."
I
But as a
definitely
kid, I
think
was like,
yeah.
"Yeah, it's pretty good."
That's a legitimately underrated night of the movies.
It is. It is. You are right. Okay. I wasn't sure to include this movie, the next movie on the list, but I included it anyway because there are technically zombies. Criminally underrated. I think it's a fantastic found footage film. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense regarding the era and the technology, but I love it. I think it counts. It's Frankenstein's Army.
I haven't seen this, but I know
Dude,
about this.
so good. Like I was expecting an okay film. When I saw this movie, it blew my balls off. Like I loved it.
It
Why
sounds
if
like
you
it's
guys
up
haven't
my
seen it, dude,
alley.
watch out for the mosquito, man. It's the set design, the costumes out of this world. I cannot believe this movie's not bigger than it is. Like this deserved a huge theatrical run and like 5 sequels, dude. It's so I cannot recommend this enough. Like you guys have to check this out. I
Oh, it
promise you
sounds
will not be
great.
so
Sounds
damn good.
great.
And it's found footage. And I'm a pretty big fan of found footage when it's done right.
No shit. I'm gonna
When
have
it's
to
done
sit.
right.
All right,
Yeah.
hold on.
Yeah.
Let's go to Amazon.
So good. It's a World War II film, found footage. It's so bizarre. I loved it. I had the DVD version too, but I sold it like an idiot, of course.
Damn, they want 23 on the Blu-ray right now.
I'm sure they didn't make many of them. But it's from Dark
Well,
Sky, so
it'll probably I'm gonna add it to my cart, that way I can keep my eye on it, but I know
there
how
you go.
Amazon is. It'll change prices
Oh yeah.
in a few days. Great cover art on that. Wow.
Yeah, dude, it's so good. Very intricate.
All right, what we got
The
next?
next is a double feature. Only one of these is a zombie flick. It's the only version I have. The Video Dead
All
is
right,
criminally underrated.
stop. Video Dead probably has some of the freakiest zombies I've ever seen.
Oh, dude, hands down. The Video Dead, some of these, that bride zombie with a chainsaw horrified me as a kid.
That's a
You know what I'm
great
talking about?
movie.
Like the burned lady zombie thing,
Dude,
dude.
that is such a good zombie movie.
So good.
I love Terror Vision as well because I'm a big Ted Nicolau fan and Charlie Band fan, obviously. But the Video Dead is effing. The Video Dead is truly a great B movie.
Mhm.
I mean,
And
truly a great one.
the concept's original. It's executed great.
Dude,
All that stuff.
the zombies in that movie are they look fucked and they
They
look
do.
mean.
Yeah, they do.
God, I'm so glad you brought up the Video Dead because I feel like I don't know anybody that ever talks about that movie.
I
Guilty.
feel like
I need
it's
to be talking about. I need to use my platform to talk about it more.
so good. They don't have any kind of re-release of this, do they? In its own like 4K or anything like that. Like I haven't heard
No,
anything about this since this version.
it needs it though. Like it's a movie that definitely deserves its own treatment. Like it's not right that it's in a double pack. It shares it with another good movie, so it's not like
Mhm.
it's carrying the weight of that release because TerraVision's fantastic,
Yeah,
but it needs its own.
it
Like that's
does.
got Vinegar Syndrome written all over it, like a
It
nice
does.
4K release of video
It
did.
does. Maybe for Thanksgiving this year, we'll get our dreams come true. And
I
that's
doubt it.
weird too, right? Because when this came out, I remember this being a pretty big deal because people are like, "Oh man, TerraVision's come." I remember this being a big deal release.
Yeah,
At
because
least that's what it seemed like.
TerraVision's got a cult fall. It's a Charlie Band Empire film, so like that, those were very very important.
So
But
you would have
Video
thought that
Dead
Video
was
Dead would have gotten bigger, but I guess it hasn't.
well, yeah, they talked about it on In Search of Darkness 3, which was nice. They actually had one of the guys from the movie in there talking
Yeah,
about it. But yeah, that movie needs a release,
it does.
a big one,
A big one.
like a big
Um,
4K.
this was a pretty good movie. I've only seen it once, but I figured I found it in a bargain bin a couple years later for like $5. It's called The Dead, simply The Dead. I think it takes place in Africa. There's like a guy venturing there, and there's a zombie apocalypse happening.
Uh-huh. I saw
Very
this
slow.
Blu-ray like 4 days ago.
Really, The Dead.
It was in my
Um,
hands, and I was like,
there's a part two also. I never saw it, but this was pretty good from what I remember. I couldn't tell you much beyond that, but I remember it being okay. So I'm glad I need to review this. It's a Ford Brothers film, so that's
huh,
bizarre.
there you go.
Uh,
World War
World
Z?
War Z. I know a lot of people rag on this movie because it's so different from the book, but
It's not that bad.
I liked it. I thought I was good. Way too much CG, but Brad Pitt's good. There's some good tension there.
Yeah, the
The
first
scene where
15 minutes build you up. They
oh yeah,
get you
and
going.
the scene where the zombie's gnashing his teeth at Brad Pitt like 2 inches away. That's some tense stuff. Figured I'd include this. It's still a zombie film. It counts. I'm kind of sorry to say that we'll never see the sequel directed by Fincher. That would have been really cool to see, but
Mm.
apparently it's not going to happen. But what can you do? We're down to the wire now. We only have 3, 6, like 12 of these left, and we'll finally be done with my collection. I'm gonna find like a whole box of these after we finish this video.
Is that Nightmare City?
It is the DVD release from Blue Underground.
I've never seen that before in my life.
It is such a crazy zombie flick, and I put zombie in quotation marks because when you see the film, you understand what I'm talking about. It's such a weird. It's just a bizarre movie. Also, I'm pretty.
Is that AKA City of the Walking Dead, or am I getting that confused with something else?
It might be. It might be City of the Walking Dead, but I'm pretty sure this is one of the first zombie flicks that has running zombies in it. So that's kind of cool. I want to say it came out in 81. Let me see here. 81. 80. It came out in 1980, and this came from Blue Underground in 2008.
Yeah,
So
that's Nightmare City. City of the Walking Dead, AKA City of the Walking Dead. I knew it. I love
nice.
the title City of the Walking Dead more.
Do you?
Something about City of the
City of
I
the
don't
yeah.
like City of the Living Dead. Like I love
Nightmare
that.
City. It is a bad title. Nightmare City does not illustrate what the hell the movie's about at all.
City of the Walking Dead is how I've seen that movie under that title.
Yeah. But you
So I
never
don't know.
watched it, or you have?
No, I've seen the movie. I
Okay.
was referencing the Blue Underground DVD release. I've
Ah,
never seen that
right.
before. But yeah, City of the
Bizarre.
Walk. Does it have reversible art? Can you swap it to City of the Walking Dead?
Let's see. Nope.
Oh,
It's
images from
just
the
the stuff
movie.
inside. Yeah.
Okay,
So
that's not a bad little movie.
no, bizarre, but it's up there. Obviously, I never got the 4K of this. I need to. I'm so pissed off because I didn't get it. I kind of slept on it. But Cemetery Man, dude, one of the most
You can still
criminally
get it,
underrated zombie flicks, dude.
Brandon. This release is so nice. You have to get it.
I watched your video where I think you reviewed it, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I reviewed it.
Didn't you say it was one of the best 4Ks you've ever seen?
Oh, it was well. In terms of Italian stuff, hands down. I mean, Severin destroyed that release. They put
Did they?
every resource they could into it, and they needed a home run. I think Severin kind of had some bad juju after their um they did an Argento release where they kind of made it look like it was going to be like a big box release, and then it wasn't, and
Hmm.
they had some issues. I say they had some issues. They had some bad press, so they needed to do a home run with
Yeah.
Cemetery Man. And that release, Brandon, it is a work of art. It's nice. The picture quality was shockingly good. Those scenes where he puts the girl in that tomb,
Mm.
with all the branches and shit on the wall, and you can see the water dripping, and she rises up with the sheet over her. Holy fuck.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Dude,
And
I've
then
gotta
that
get it.
weird quirky nature of his sidekick
Oh, yeah.
helper, dude, Cemetery Man and that glass casket when they were burying that one girl, like,
Mhm.
what in the fuck is going on? Cemetery Man's probably one of the greatest Italian movies ever made.
It is criminally underrated, dude. I can't believe it's not more popular, especially considering Everett's in there, Rupert Everett. It's just crazy, dude.
It's insane. I think it's weird, like, it's like it came out in '94, which
Mhm. Weird period for films in general.
yeah, dude, but it is one of the best it was the best release of last year, I think, hands down.
Really?
Cemetery Man. Oh, yeah. Not
Dude,
even
holy shit.
close. It was one of the and they ended the year strong. They did Cemetery Man, they did The Church, which was a great release. They did The Sect. So they got some Michael what's that director's name? Michael Soavi. Yeah, they did The Sect. They killed
Nice.
it last year.
And
So
The Church was AKA Demons 3, correct?
basically, yeah, which I didn't
Yeah, yeah.
realize that until after the fact.
Um, yeah, moving on. So next, I don't own this on Blu-ray either because I'm ashamed of myself. Dead
Dead
Alive on
Alive.
DVD.
That's how
Great
I got
zombie
it.
flick. They're not similar at all, but they're for some reason I always tend to watch these around the same time as each other. Cemetery Man and Dead Alive.
I
I
can't
don't know
believe that's
why.
the Lord of the Rings guy.
It's so crazy, dude. So bizarre, but
It
great
has a
movie.
it has a Blu-ray, but it was very short-lived and it's very expensive. Great
Yeah,
movie.
I'm surprised it
It's
hasn't been
probably one of the
remastered.
best gory movies of all time.
Oh yeah, I kick ass for the Lord. Great, great scene, dude. I love that movie so much.
Ugh, when that feeding scene where their necks busted open and they're just
Oh,
shoving
and
that
the
cream corn
pudding's
in the
coming
throat.
out. Dude, shout out to my buddy Tom. He showed me this movie for the first time on VHS back in like 5th grade.
Shout
And
out
I
Tom.
swear to God, shout out to Tom, the first time I saw the scene where the monkey gets punched by the rat monkey at the beginning, we laughed so hard, rewound that shit like 70 times, ball busting funny. That little
Oh my god.
dude, so hysterical.
Oh my
Um,
god.
so shout out to my buddy Tom.
Redneck
Redneck
Zombies.
Zombies. This is a sealed DVD copy. I have not opened it. I probably won't because I want to get the
Great
Blu-ray.
trauma classic.
Yeah, dude. Great film. I've only seen this on VHS. I don't think I've seen it since it came to other formats,
I think
but I
that got
remember
a
loving it.
I think that got a 4K from Vinegar Syndrome because they
I'm
do a
pretty
lot
sure
of
it's
trauma
there,
stuff.
which I can't imagine this looking good because it was shot on video. So it's like, how good could it actually be? You know, but I'm down for it. I need to buy it for sure. This movie deserves our support. What a
Very
weird
much
little
so.
flick. We're gonna go straight to Charlie Band-ish with Full Moons. Very underrated. The Dead Hate the Living.
That artwork used to mesmerize me as a kid.
Yeah. Yep.
They have a
I
Rob
enjoy this
Zombie
one a lot.
lookalike in that, right?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I think
I
they
just
do.
recall watching this on VHS and I remember thinking it was really crazy. Such a
Yeah,
weird movie.
that was right as Charlie lost the Paramount deal, so everything he was making was completely funded by himself. Paramount had kind of backed out of their distribution deal and funding movies, so this was Charlie completely 100% independent.
I wonder if it did well as far as straight to DVD fodder can do. Like, I wonder if it actually did good
Yeah, well,
because nobody
yeah,
talks about this movie, dude.
it a lot of that stuff he was doing that time was just boom next, boom next. Now I think that movie did fairly well in rentals and DVD sales, VHS
Mhm.
sales,
Right.
but it came and went.
Okay. The next one I got from FYE in the early 2000s, I think. It's from Diamond Entertainment,
Hmm.
and it's the Seven Doors of Death widescreen edition. Now, at the time, I didn't
That is
realize this
freaky.
was just The Beyond. I didn't realize it was the same movie as The Beyond. So it really blew my mind
Holy shit.
down the road. I'm like, wait, what the hell? This is just The Beyond. So I don't recall where Seven Doors of Death was native to. I'm not sure if it was released as Seven Doors of Death in Italy. Probably not. But it was released as that somewhere. But this is a Region 1 DVD. So not sure the origin of
Great
this at all.
artwork.
Bizarre, dude. It's funny because that's an actual, like, I'm pretty sure that's an actual, like, world famous mummy that they decided to post on the front cover of this. Like, why? It's just such a Maybe it's a bootleg that worked its way into FYE. I don't know, but it's always been one of the weirdest oddities in my collection. It's a real DVD,
Yeah.
DVD. It's not DVD-R, but it has. Look at this.
That's the product line in there.
Is that weird or what? It's all
Bunch
TV
of
shows. What?
westerns. Oh,
Westerns. You see Andy Griffith in there. Like that's just
wow.
It's a very weird. The disc is weird too. Like what the hell?
I
It's
love
just
it.
a very bizarre. I included the Gates of Hell, which you sent me. Much appreciated.
Oh, yeah, it's funny because I was looking for that the other day to try to show somebody something. It might have been Nick or somebody. I was like, well, they have another version that they actually called it the Gates of Hell on the slip. And then I forgot. I sent it to you. So I was like, I can't find it.
Now you prefer City of the Living Dead, right? Like I like the Gates of Hell
I
title better.
love City of the Living Dead. I'm not saying that that is not a bad title. I think that, first of all, that's probably one of the greatest posters of all time.
It is. It is.
But I love City of the Living Dead. There's also an image for City of the Living Dead that I love too, with like those two zombie heads against a tombstone with City of. I love that. I just love City of the Living Dead. I love it.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
They're not even really like zombies in that film, but I guess it still counts. But
It
it's
still
just such a
counts.
weird. This zombie was he became sort of an icon unto himself. He was in a bunch of unrelated zombie film posters. Like he was sort of the zombie on the zombie creeping flesh poster. It's sort of the same guy.
Yeah, you're jumping ahead, Brandon.
Yeah, I am. But he was in a bunch of weird stuff.
I want to enjoy it. I want to enjoy that. Yeah, but yeah, great. Yeah.
Moving on to the last 6 or 7 now. Finally, we have the Burial Ground regular Blu-ray from Severin from a couple years ago.
We bought that together.
We did. And I was not expecting the 4K to come around as quick as it did, but you got to love that original artwork.
It's like a
so damn good.
It's like a chrome skull.
Yeah, so bizarre. Yeah, that VHS artwork tripped me out when I was a kid.
Yeah, me too.
Great movie. I'm so glad this movie's having sort of like a resurgence. Like I feel like everybody likes this movie. I'm so happy about it.
Because it's funny. It's good
so
and it's
weird.
funny.
Like nobody ever says that movie sucks.
What else you got?
I got a couple more here. I got the Zombie Flesh Eaters 2, Zombie 3, the 88 films version.
Yeah, you love them. You have a couple of those Italian collections.
I do, yeah. I would love to get the whole 88 films Italian collection, but there's like 87 titles or something, so it's a lot. But yeah, this is number 9 in the whole collection. Haven't opened it. I probably won't because there's no need to at this point. You know what I mean? We've got the Zombie Flesh Eaters 3, which is Zombie 4.
Okay, yeah, it took me a second. It took me a second. I'm sorry.
And we got Zombie Creeping Flesh, which is Hell of the Living Dead or Virus or Night of the Zombies, whatever you want to call it.
No, Hell of Living Dead is how I know that movie. That movie has a very negative reputation. Are you a fan?
I love that movie. Dude, listen to me. When I first saw this movie on VHS, it was called Night of the Zombies. I think it had the same poster art. And the scene where the chick goes into the little like duplex thing, and there's that like priest guy with his back turned, and he spins around and smiles at her with his face all messed up. That scene on VHS, it was like, I guess the contrast was so high. He looked so effed up. It stayed with me for a long time. Now, seeing it on Blu-ray, not this obviously because I haven't opened this yet, but on DVD and Blu-ray, it's a little bit more hokey. But back in the day, that image from this movie stuck with me. And plus, I love all the National Geographic-ish footage in there that doesn't make any sense. They've taken scenes from other documentary films. It's just a wacky, bizarre film.
I'm pretty sure Charlie Band used some images from Hell of Living Dead in Corona Zombies.
I'm sure
because I think some of it looked familiar.
Doesn't he sell a version of Hell of the Living Dead himself? Because I swear to God, I've seen that movie for sale on Full Moon Direct.
Maybe. I know Blue Underground did.
There's some kind of really weird Full Moon connection there, I think.
Maybe so.
All right, we're down to the last 3, dude. The last 3. I finally own Zombie Holocaust on 4K from 88 Films. Very, very happy about this.
See, I need to get those. I have.
Dude, it's so heavy.
I love
their thick cases too.
I got the burial ground of that, and I loved it. But I need to get that. They did 2 of them. They did go ahead. I don't wanna jump ahead. You might have
No,
the
go
other
ahead.
one.
Keep talking. I'm just gonna show off some stuff.
No, I'm pretty sure you've got it, so I'll keep it a surprise. But yeah, let's see the
Okay.
poster of that. Oh,
So
man.
sick.
I need to buy that. Maybe I'll get it at Texas Frightmare this weekend if there's an 88 Films booth.
Are you going to that? Sweet.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
gonna go
yeah, dude.
Saturday.
Nice.
By the time this
Nice.
comes out, though, it'll probably be like way past Texas Frightmare.
Probably.
Brandon, I have so many videos already done and in the can, so
I hear you.
your hair
I've
will be
gotta,
fully grown in by the time this video comes out.
dude. I hear such crazy things about Texas Frightmare. I've got to get myself over to one sometime. It's such a drive, but I'm like, I feel like it's gonna be so worth it if I ever get over there.
Yeah.
Because that's like infamous. That's way more infamous than Spooky Empire. You know what I mean?
Where did you order that? Did you order from 88 Films directly?
I got these from eBay because they were cheaper. I'm pretty sure they're from like a second source that sells from 88 Films on eBay, but they were brand new, sealed, but they were like $12 cheaper a piece on
Oh,
eBay.
really? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you get the other one? They put out another one.
Got Burial Ground.
You didn't come with the slipcover for that?
It didn't come with a slipcover. I was kind of disappointed.
Oh, man.
Also, there's no insert booklet or poster in this at all.
That's probably why you got it cheaper.
Did yours come with an insert?
Oh, yeah.
Because this is brand new, so it's weird that there's nothing inside. You know what I mean? It was not returned.
Do you want me to
Yeah,
grab
'cause
one real
I'm
quick?
kind of curious as why this didn't come with nothing.
All right,
Also, I noticed they stopped numbering them too with the 4Ks.
Yeah.
Yeah. What the hell? So why is mine just the regular?
I just reversed mine. You probably just flip your art.
Oh, duh. Okay. You're right. You're right. Damn, I'm gonna
Yeah.
reverse mine later.
So
2 discs. Yeah, yours came with the posters in the booklet. Damn, I got ripped off, man.
yeah.
Mine wasn't opened either. Mine must be from like a later batch or something. You know?
Yeah, maybe so.
They ran out of
I
posters.
I
or
need to
something.
get Zombie Holocaust though, and
Yeah.
but dude, the slipcovers on these are so nice. People were telling me, it's like, Christian, oh, is that Hell of Living Dead?
It is.
Oh, dude.
It is, dude.
Yeah, I need to grab that too.
I can't believe this movie got a 4K. It blows my mind.
All right.
It's just I just can't believe it. Yeah, that's the guy I was talking about from the duplex that freaked me out as a kid. This guy right here in the middle.
Oh, yeah.
But there's nothing in here either. It's just discs, bare bones, which is fine, but I was surprised.
I'm gonna have to order them from one of my sites because I gotta get the slipcovers with those.
Yeah.
That's so good, dude.
I love
Yeah,
it.
88 Films. But people were telling me, like, when I reviewed this, Brandon, I reviewed Burial Ground, and people were telling me at the time, he's like, "What are you doing, man? Like, Severin's gonna put that out." And I remember saying to myself, "Why would I wait? Look at this! Like, 88 Films killed it. They did such a good job with this. Like, and I love they killed the artwork.
They did.
I mean, why would I wait for Severin? Like, I love what 88 Films did, and by the looks of the Zombie Holocaust and Hell of Living Dead, like, I'm gonna order those too from 88 Films. They both use the same transfer, so
right.
I like 88 Films. I think they're coming up.
Good quality, good prices, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I did not know that Severin was going to release Hell of the Living Dead. I'm going to have to buy that too. Or Burial Ground, excuse me, Burial Ground.
Yeah.
I'll buy it again. That's kind of bizarre, actually.
What else you got?
That's it. I'm finally at the end of the line.
Pretty hardy, dude.
It's a lot of stuff.
Brandon, we went 2 hours talking about zombie movies. We stayed on topic for 2 hours.
And I only stuttered like 2 or 3 times. That's a new record, dude.
Do you have anything to tell the audience? Well, if you're going to tell them to watch any hidden gem zombie film, which one is it?
Ooh, out of this stack, I'm going to have to say, out of the less obvious stuff, I would say you've got to watch. I'll give you 3 of them. Okay. You've got to watch The Video Dead, as we discussed. They've got to see Video Dead. I'm sure it's on Tubi. It's got to be, right? You've got to see Frankenstein's Army. That's a must, Christian. I promise you're going to love it.
Oh, I'm gonna get that. As soon as
And
I dips on Amazon, I'm gonna grab it right away.
yeah, you got to. And Automaton Transfusion or Diary of the Dead. If you slept on those two titles, they're both Dimension Extreme. I promise you'll love them. I promise. And that's
There
it.
you
That's all
have
I
it.
got. That's my stack of stuff. How do
Dude,
we do?
this was great. Thank you so much, man. You actually, like I said, you had a sleeper collection.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. It sucks too because I would have had like, I don't know, at least twice as many if I had kept all my DVDs. Like I had Tokyo Zombie and Bio Zombie, dude, so much crazy stuff that's just out of print. I'm so mad at myself. I'm gonna do a whole deep dive video soon where I go to my declutter account that I can still log into and I can see all the stuff I sold them in like 3 or 4 separate orders. Dude, there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of musicals, non-horror DVDs, horror DVDs, music video DVDs, any and everything under the sun that I could sell to them, pennies on the dollar. I'm having to
Mm,
rebuy. I'm having to rebuy for 20, $30 a pop. All because I wanted to make space for new Blu-rays and make space for the baby. Hindsight's 2020. I get it, but dude,
yeah, why make space
literally
for the
every time I see
baby?
you guys talk about DVDs, I'm like, dude, I had so many
I
that
bet you did.
I just
I believe
fucking
it.
sold for pennies on the dollar.
Damn it.
Crazy.
Damn it.
But what can you do besides buying back?
You got a good collection now, man. You got some really cool stuff. I dig the Italian collection, Blu-rays, and you got good stuff now. So
Thank you. Thank you.
that was awesome, dude. Thank you so much. Most of you watching this probably know Brandon, but if not, as you can see, Tabata Vision, youtube.com/Tabata Vision, youtube.com/Tabata Vision TV, youtube.com/Tabata Tunes. That's where you can find him.
Right.
But yeah, Brandon, what do you got coming up on the channel?
I have a hopefully 2 hour, speaking of zombies, hopefully a 2 hour deep dive into Italian zombie flicks. This is an Italian zombie movie iceberg is what I'm going to call it. It's going to be mostly obscure facts about the making of Italian zombie flicks. I'm not going to cover too many of them because there's a big discrepancy about which ones really count as zombie flicks or not. But there's a lot of really cool stuff I'm covering that I think some of us probably know, but there's some really weird stuff too. Cemetery Man, Zombie 2, Hell of the Living Dead, Nightmare City, all kinds of stuff. It's going to be fun. That'll be at least within the next month or so. Hopefully, I'm still recording stuff. It's such a long video. I'm excited for it. Hopefully, it does well.
Yeah, I'm excited for anything long form like that. I love iceberg videos too.
Same.
Yeah. If anybody's
Yeah.
not familiar with what that means, iceberg is a metaphor for it's a tier video, basically.
Mhm.
Mainstream, more deep cut, more basically with an iceberg. The stuff above the water, what you see is the top level, and then the iceberg under goes deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And that's the metaphor for what an iceberg is. If anybody's
Mhm.
listening, like, huh? Iceberg, like the Titanic? So there you go, guys.
There
Anyway,
you go.
listen, this was basically a podcast, but this was incredible. I love this kind of stuff. This is the kind of stuff my audience wants, and I'm happy to try to provide it for you guys. So thank you so much for watching. This is your old pal CHH and Brandon from Tabata Vision. You'll catch us soon on the next Planet Dirty, I'm sure. But thank you guys
Mhm.
for watching, and we'll see you next time. Take care. Huge giant thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Without you guys, this would not be possible. To get behind the scenes photos, videos, music, private live streams, and much more, you can subscribe to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Thank you to my patrons.